Just one moment.
And there's a list. So what's the first thing on in your notes that indicate that?
Well, I didn't really organize them by importance, but I would like to talk about each of them because I think they're all important to consider. So in addition to everything that we just talked about, everything that we just heard that would show a rational motivation for killing Landavazo, Mr. Lott also had other beliefs that conflicted with those ideas, and it's my opinion that those canceled out his understanding of the lawfulness of what he was doing. And so I'm going to talk about those. He called the murder a fulfillment of a prophecy of God, and he said that he was sacrificing himself, his life and his freedom for Landavazo to go to heaven. And he said that during the actual confession to the officers. He also told the officers that he was sacrificing himself for her benefit, and he mentioned the musical band Bullet for My Valentine, which in his mind was somehow loosely connected to a sacrifice that he was making. He said that he believed that Ms. Landavazo was, quote, an innocent girl who was going to end up having something bad happen to her anyway, and he thought that one of those things that might happen was that she was going to get raped in a couple of years, and he said that he was saving her from evil of the world by sacrificing her and sending her to heaven. He said that when he found out from the news report that her favorite color was the color purple, and that purple was the color that they were associating with her death, that he knew that it was meant to be because of the thing that the district attorney was mentioning a second ago about the 6 and the 9 representing the colors red and blue, and when you put those together, those make purple.
Let me stop you for just a second. Okay, these are strange statements. Can you tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury, how do you evaluate those qualitatively in the wrongfulness? How does that fit in?
So these are, as you mentioned, these are very unusual beliefs, and they, when you look at a person's understanding of the wrongfulness of their conduct, if they have beliefs that are delusional and are psychotic and are due to, in this case, schizoaffective disorder, that show that they don't understand the wrongfulness of what they were doing, then they didn't understand the wrongfulness of what they were doing, no matter what all the other information says. And so he had these beliefs, and I've only talked about 2 of them, but he had these beliefs that undermine or cancel out his understanding of wrongfulness, because if he didn't think that she could die, if he believed that she was immoral, as I'll tell you in a minute, that doesn't show that he understood that he was killing her, and he makes statements to the effect that he was killing her, and he makes statements to the effect that he was murdering her, but at the same time, he was believing that she was immortal and that she wouldn't be killed, or perhaps that she would be sent to another dimension, or perhaps that she would be sent to heaven, but they were all these different beliefs that he was having at once, and if you feel confused by that, that's because it is confusing. He was very confused at the time that he did this.
Okay, let's go to number 3.
Okay. He said that this was a test to see if Jesus would save an innocent person. He expressed a belief that Jesus might have saved her from being killed. He said that he expected to be caught immediately, and that was indicated, as we mentioned, by the note, and he only ran off, quote-unquote, ran off, but only because he was surprised that he had not been caught. And he expressed a belief, as we mentioned, I think, yesterday, that the devil was protecting him from getting caught. He said that he killed Ms. Landavazo because God did not come down and rapture everybody, and he mentioned in association with that he believed that killing her would be a sacrifice to get God involved and to get God to come and help these other children that were being abused by a satanic cult or gang that was going on around the world. He said that God had sent Lauren to earth as an angel and that she was different from other people because she could not die. He then asked me, why wouldn't she get into heaven? And he said she could, quote, could not truly die. He saw her as an angel of God. He said that she was an angel who was mixed in among the humans, which he believed was not uncommon. He said that there had been other people that appeared to be humans that were actually angels. And then he said that she's not dead, she's still alive, and everyone else thinks that she's dead. And he mentioned the rapper Tupac, who is dead, but is believed by some people to not be dead.
Let me stop you a second. You reviewed the jail calls between him and his parents, is that correct?
Between him and his mother, and then there was one call, I think, that had Brian Rowland on it.
Was there any discussion as to whether or not Lauren was dead in those phone calls?
There was one phone call where his mother said he was confused about why he was in jail, and she said, well, you're in jail because of murder. And he said, murder? He acted surprised by that, and she said, yeah, and then he said something to the effect of, why am I in here for murder? I didn't murder anybody. And she said, you killed that little girl. And he said, I killed her? And she said, yeah, you killed her. And at that point, he kind of seemed to accept it. When his mom challenged his delusional beliefs, a lot of times he'd be able to go, from those phone calls, he'd be able to see it a little bit more from her perspective, because I think he trusted his mother, and he was able to see, I think, at that point, okay, yeah, I'm in here for murder and for killing her.
Would that correspond with this statement that you just talked about?
Yeah, in general, I mean, again, in general, he has so many conflicting and confusing ideas. He's so confused in his mind that there will be times when he does say, I killed her, I murdered her, I shot her. And then there'll be other times when he's more confused about that. He believes that she's still alive. You know, he talked a lot during my evaluation with him about how either she definitely was, you know, he expressed beliefs where she definitely was alive. At other times he said she may be alive, maybe she's dead. And then at other times he definitively said that she is dead and that he killed her. But
What about number 7?
Sure. So he mentioned a verse in the Bible where Jesus said about a girl that she's just sleeping, she's not dead, and he conveyed that verse to express a belief that Lauren was still alive. He said that she was still alive, but she was just somewhere else. He said it was better for Lauren to go somewhere else because he believed that she was being bullied at school. I didn't encounter any evidence anywhere to suggest that that was a real occurrence, but he believed that. He also believed that she had smoked marijuana and that she was going to be punished in some way for that, and that part of her punishment was to hold up a sign with Bible verses by the side of the road with a man that holds up Bible verses. Again, there's no evidence to suggest that that was actually the case, but he believed that. He said that she could not take her own life because it's not allowed for her to do so, and he thought that maybe she would because of the bullying. Obviously, I put bullying in quotation marks because there was no evidence of any bullying, but he believed in his mind that she was being bullied and that she couldn't commit suicide because that was prohibited by religious beliefs. But he said that he was shooting her basically to kill her to avoid that. That was one of the reasons. And he said, I watched myself shoot her, but she did not die. And then he said he wanted the shooting event to end as quickly as possible, as we mentioned with the district attorney, because she was in pain. She was letting out those screams. He said that God had sent Lauren to earth as an angel and that she was different from other people and could not be, he said that several times throughout. And then he also mentioned that he had to sacrifice her, as I said before, to stop other children from getting sacrificed by this cult or gang that he believed was going on around the world. And he felt that if he did this, he would get God's attention and he would be able to get God to intervene and perhaps come down to earth or send Jesus Christ back down to earth. He said that this was an act to just try to get God involved. He said that when he shot her, she got eternal life with Jesus Christ. He said he didn't know if she was reincarnated, but when you go to heaven, when you die, you either go to heaven or hell. And he said that she went to heaven. He said that the murder just hadn't happened because of her age. He believed after he found out that there was significance in the fact that she was 13. He had something about the number 13 that was significant to him. He wasn't very clear on that, but I think it had something to do with his occultic beliefs. He stated that he was hoping that he sent Ms. Landavazo to the real heaven rather than the Order of the Eastern Star. And before he told me that the Order of the Eastern Star was the Helen Therapy and Mental Health and Mental Retardation Services. So I don't really know what he meant by that, but he was saying that he hoped that he had sent her to heaven. And he said that someone tried to tell him that he was Jesus, and they took him out of jail to resurrect Lauren. And he mentioned that he went back when he was in jail, that he believed that he went back to the site where he shot the girls, and that he said that he believed that she was actually buried there, and that he had gone there, and that she'd been brought back out of a grave there, and that he had spoken with her. That's what he had believed. And he said that he had spoken with her after she died, but no one else had, and not even her family could see her. Let's see. And then after telling me all that, he told me that with kind of a conviction. He believed it, and after that he said, well, it might have been a false vision or an illusion because I was dealing with demons and stuff.
And then number 13 on your notes.
Oh yeah, so I mentioned that a little bit, but I'll say it again. He said that he killed her to, quote, help her out from being punished on earth because he believed, again, that she had smoked marijuana. Again, there's no evidence that had really happened in her life or that he had any knowledge of that, but he believed that, and he believed that he was sending her to, quote, the real heaven. He said that he sent her to dimensions that other people cannot see. And he said that he sacrificed himself, again, for Lauren's benefit. I think I mentioned that before. But he said various things throughout at various times, so that's kind of repeating some of these. And he also mentioned that he wondered whether it was actually Lauren that he shot and killed, or whether it was some other being or some other spirit or some other form in Lauren's body or in her being. So those are all of the different things that he told me that he was thinking at the time of the incident events.
And you went through a lot of questions and answers with regard to him avoiding detection and lying to police and stuff. How do all of those things square with what we've just heard here? I mean, when you as a psychiatrist hear all of this, how do you balance it out?
Yeah, as I mentioned yesterday, people with psychotic beliefs and delusional beliefs can still act rationally and appear to act rationally. And so he was doing things that would help him avoid getting caught, and that would help him avoid detection, and it would help him from being placed at the scene of the crime, such as lying about his whereabouts, from having the murder weapon being found, and things like that. He did all these things, but that doesn't speak to his knowledge of the wrongfulness, because he had these beliefs, as I just said, that he was sending her to other dimensions, that she was an angel, that she was immortal, that she couldn't actually be killed, that he was sacrificing her to achieve a greater good for the rest of these children in the world that were being abused and tortured and killed. And so when you look at it, those were his motivations. Those were his psychotic motivations. He did have other motivations. He did mention, as we talked about yesterday, the jealousy and being fired up or charged up, as she mentioned, by her friends and things like that. So he did have some other apparent motivations, and he did mention those. And those were actually some of the first things that he mentioned to me, even to me, when I talked to him. And it wasn't until kind of letting him ramble on and on further that he got all this other information out. And that's actually what my evaluation with him was mostly me listening to him ramble on and on for hours, sometimes with some redirection of him saying a lot, expressing a lot of his delusional beliefs, and a lot of it was about stuff that wasn't even related to the case or pertaining to the case. But when we talked about the case, again, he expressed beliefs that she couldn't die, and that she was an angel, that if she could die, he was sending her to heaven, and that it was a sacrifice for her benefit and also for the benefit of children that were being tortured worldwide. And that, to me, indicates that he did not general wrongfulness as a result of his psychotic delusions and as a result of his schizoaffective disorder, because if he thinks that he's shooting someone that's not even a real being, or if he believes that he's shooting an angel, or if he believes that she's immortal, that doesn't show an understanding of wrongfulness. And even if he did believe that he was killing her, and he believed that it was a sacrifice, he believed that he was doing it for a greater good, and that it wasn't wrong in his mind because he was saving these other children from being tortured and abused and killed all over the world by this cult or gang, as he called it.
Okay, let me ask you about this drug usage. How does the drug usage, we heard a long litany of drugs that he's taken and used, how does that relate to this case? How does that relate to insanity?
Well, Mr. Lott had been using opioids fairly heavily, 80 to 90 milligrams a day of hydrocodone for the months leading up to the incident events, and he'd also been smoking marijuana up to 14 grams or half an ounce a day of marijuana. But we don't know the quality or potency of that, but that's a pretty high amount to use. And so, as we mentioned before, with cross-examination with the district attorney, people can become habituated to the effects of these drugs, and as she mentioned, he was still cognizant and aware enough to be able to grab the gun to do all these things. But the point is, his brain, and this doesn't just happen to him, this happens in a lot of people who use opioids or marijuana on a daily basis, but their brain will recalibrate and reestablish a new baseline based on the amount of drugs that they're using. So if a person uses marijuana or opioid drugs for a long period of time, months or years, their brain gets used to that level, and that becomes their new level of normalcy in terms of what their brain is used to. And so he had a pattern of using every day. He was using essentially at that point to avoid withdrawal symptoms. And so when a person stops using opioids, for example, they have physical and psychological problems that can be related to stopping using opioids. People can get flu-like symptoms, they can get runny nose, they can feel really bad all over, they can get chills or hot sweats. And so he was using every day before those effects ever happened, because those effects happen usually 24 to 48 hours after stopping using these drugs. So he was using every day, keeping himself from going into withdrawal, and that's what people usually do when they develop what we call tolerance. And withdrawal tolerance is that you have to use more and more of the drug over time to achieve the same effect, or if you're using the same amount, it doesn't have any more intoxicating effect on you, really. So he was using 80 to 90 milligrams of hydrocodone a day, and it wasn't having any more real effect on him, so he was essentially using to be normal, and I use that the term normal in a very broad sense, but for him that was his level of normalcy. He was using 80 to 90 milligrams a day, and his brain had reestablished a new level of normal. As the district attorney mentioned, if people who don't use drugs use that level of drugs, we would be very, very, very intoxicated, having lots of problems related to those drugs. For him, that was his normal state of being. He had been using those drugs for a long time at those levels. And the same thing, I've been talking about the opiate, but the same thing goes for cannabis. He was using high levels of cannabis.
So, Doctor, let me stop here for a second. So, the levels of usage of the drugs at that time was consistent with what it had been before that point in time, for a long period of time.
It was pretty stable with the exception of the marijuana looked like it was a little bit less on the day of the murder. He went from using up, it looked like about 14 grams to, I think, like I said, 2 grams that day.
With the planning and shooting of these girls have happened without any drugs being used on them?
It's my opinion that it would have, because of the enduring, persistent nature of his schizoaffective disorder. He has had a disorder and has had symptoms of disorder. As I mentioned, since probably age 13 or 14, he had these prodromal symptoms. He had some very pronounced symptoms to where he actually met the formal criteria for the diagnosis when he was in UT Harris County Psychiatric Center, which was, as the district attorney mentioned, about a year before he did this. So a year before he did this, when he was completely off the drugs, he had symptoms of schizoaffective disorder where he was having the same types of symptoms the day that he killed Ms. Landavazo. He had delusions. He had hallucinations around that time. I know that we said that on the day of, he didn't report any hallucinations, but he had hallucinations the day before. And he had some disordered thought and illogical thoughts that were conflicting with one another. As I mentioned before, he had lots of different thoughts about why he was doing this. And many of them, as I mentioned, were what we would call insane delusions, meaning they prevented him from understanding the wrongfulness of what he was doing. For example, he believed that she was an angel, that she couldn't die, and that he was sacrificing her to help her and to help children that were being sacrificed around the world.
Okay.
Doctor, we'll never know what would have happened had he not been on the drugs that day that he committed the murder and the aggravated assault, because he told you he was high, he felt good, he was pissed off about where his life was going. Did he not?
He used the term high, but as I mentioned to the jury just now.
Hold on. We direct your attention to, in your notes, page 3 of 47. It says he was high, felt good, was pissed off about what was going on in his life, which is what I just said to you.
That's what he said, yes.
Thank you. Do you also tell you he might as well kill someone, and he then asked himself, who's going to be worth it? If I have to spend the rest of my life in prison, who is it going to be for?
Yes, he believed he would get the rest of his life in prison, and he also mentioned to me that he knew about he said the lethal injection, so and again, he knew about the death penalty as well.
And did he say, I'm already getting punished as if I've murdered someone, so I might as well murder someone?
Yes.
Where did he get money for all those drugs?
From his parents.
Because he wasn't employed,
That's correct.
not ever held on a real job.
He had worked at, I believe, Sonic and Chipotle for very brief periods of time. But because of his drug use and mental illness, he had not.
He had another excuse, doctor, he had another excuse. What people do, that is their behavior, is more important than what they say, which is self-reporting in a forensic evaluation, is it not? Yes or no?
I put more weight on their behavior than on their words.
That's what it is.
What does behavior include?
Behavior would include, actions, behavior, things that people do.
Or behavior that when you're talking to them, you're observing behavior?
I observe behavior while I'm speaking with them, but as I mentioned during my evaluation, he didn't really exhibit much behavior other than stroking his beard every once in a while. My evaluation, the observation of his behavior during my evaluation wasn't a critical consideration, and that's why yesterday when they were asking about his appearance too, that didn't really, to me, matter much.
Thank you, sir. You may step down. Gentlemen, we'll take our morning recess at this time. Leave you with Mr. Crossley to discuss the case.
Alan Killingsworth,
And how are you employed?
with the Wichita Falls Police Department,
And how long have you been so employed?
26 years.
And so you're a licensed peace officer in the state of Texas?
Yes, ma'am.
And how long have you been so licensed?
Since February of 1993.
And officers have different types of licenses, is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
And what type of license do you hold?
I hold a Master's Peace Officer's license.
And is that the highest level you can hold?
Yes, ma'am.
And Detective Killingsworth, while you've been employed by the Wichita Falls Police Department, can you tell this jury what sections you've been involved with in the police department?
For my first 13 years, I was a patrol officer. And in 2006, I was moved to misdemeanors. I was a misdemeanor detective for about 6 months. Moved at that point to juvenile division, and I worked crimes against children as a detective for a little over 3 years, and then in 2009, I was transferred to the Crimes Against Persons unit, which is where I currently serve.
And the Crimes Against Person unit, what type of offenses do you investigate?
We investigate all kinds of felony offenses against adults, everything from aggravated assaults, which are all assaults that someone uses a weapon or somebody suffers serious bodily injury, sexual assaults, homicides, suicides, all unintended deaths. This pretty much runs the gamut.
Okay, and our cases, how many detectives are there in the Crimes Against Person unit?
6.
And who oversees that unit?
Currently, Sergeant Brian Sheehan.
And how do cases get assigned to a specific detective, excuse me?
Typically, we, as the 6 of us that are in our unit, we go on call every 6 weeks. From Friday at 4 o'clock till the next Friday at 4 o'clock, we're on call as the primary detective. And anything that happens during that week, whether it's a call out or after hours call out or something that happens on during duty hours, we get assigned that case. There are exceptions to that, but that's typically how we get assigned cases. And then just during our normal work week, cases that happen that we don't get called out on, our sergeant just assigns us those cases as they come in.
And let's say a murder occurs in Wichita Falls, and you're assigned that murder case.
Mm-hmm.
Do the other detectives work with you as a team to investigate that murder case?
Yes, ma'am. The larger the scale of the investigation, the more detectives that get called in to assist. It can be anywhere from just you by yourself, if it's not that much involved in the investigation, or 2 or 3 or all 6 of us sometimes.
And while you've been a detective in the Crimes Against Person unit, have you investigated few or many murders?
For Wichita Falls, I would say many.
And then with regard to the juvenile section of the police department and detectives, what types of crimes do they investigate?
It's almost just a mirror image of Crimes Against Persons. It's just that they investigate all crimes against juveniles. So the same things, death investigations involving juveniles, homicides involving juveniles, assaults, sexual assaults, almost the exact same thing. It's just the age difference.
Okay, so you have that where the offender is a juvenile under the age of 17, then they're assigned those types of cases, correct?
Correct. They are assigned cases where the offender is a juvenile, and they're also, most of the time, assigned cases where the victim is a juvenile as well. Even if it's an adult offender, if it's a victim juvenile, usually they're assigned those cases.
And how many murders have they investigated within the past, I'd say 5 years, if you know, just ballpark? Has that juvenile unit investigated where there's an adult murder of a child victim?
It would be difficult to give a ballpark figure, but it's very few. It's in the past 5 years, probably 1 or 2.
Is it safe to say the bulk of their cases are aggravated sexual assault of children?
Yes, ma'am.
And so they specialize in those types of cases?
Yes, ma'am.
And so I'm going to direct your attention to September 2nd of 2016. And were you working that day?
Yes, ma'am.
And approximately 3:30 in the afternoon on that Friday, what information did you receive, if anything?
There were 3 of us in the office that afternoon, and it's nearing the end of our workday. It's pretty much 30 minutes before the end of our workday on a Friday, and we received information that there had been shooting. And so the 3 of us that were there started pretty much scurrying around trying to find out some more details. And the way you do that is we get on our computer system and we're able to look up what the patrol officers out on the scene are responding to at that time. And the next information we got very quickly was that it was a school shooting. A lot of the information you receive immediately when something like this happens is misinformation. You have to kind of work through that. But we thought what we heard was that it was a school shooting at McNeil Junior High. And so obviously we began mobilizing and deciding to, respond out there. Honestly, on that particular day, our supervisor wasn't at work. I think he'd been at work earlier that day, but he wasn't at work at that moment. His supervisor was at work, our lieutenant. And so we coordinated with our lieutenant, the 3 of us that happened to be in the office, and said, we are heading in that direction to find out what we got, what was going on. So that's what happened.
And so when you arrived on scene, Did you know the ages of the victim?
I learned very quickly the ages of the victim. On the way there, I did not know. As soon as I got there, I remember hearing their ages. Yes, ma'am.
How many victims were there?
2.
And what were their ages?
13.
And so knowing that, would that type of case been assigned to someone in crimes against person?
Not typically.
And in this case, was this case or this offense that occurred on September 2nd assigned to a detective in juvenile or crimes against person?
It was, this all got figured out on scene about an hour or two into the investigation. It got figured out by our supervisors that they were going to assign the case to the juvenile detective who was on call at that time. And I was actually going on call at 4 o'clock that day. And so they assigned me to assist him in the investigation.
Okay. And that detective that was assigned that case that day, what is his name?
Detective Vermillion?
Walt Vermillion?
Yes, ma'am.
And the reason that you were assigned to work the case with Walt Vermillion, is that because you've worked a number of murders?
Yes, ma'am. I was just more experienced than Walt and had investigated cases like this many times before, and he didn't have quite as much as experience. So they told me right there on the scene that I was going to assist him all along the way in the investigation.
And how many times would you say that you've taken a statement from a suspect?
Hundreds, if not thousands.
And you've been trained to do that?
Yes, ma'am.
And in that training, do they teach you different tools regarding how to get suspects to be forthright with you and tell you the details of an offense?
Sure. We're taught, techniques in just rapport building, and which if you build a rapport with somebody, you're more likely to be able to obtain the information that you're seeking to gain.
And do you utilize those tools?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you have an occasion to speak with a Kody Lott?
Yes, ma'am.
And how did that occur?
2 days into the investigation on September 4th, which was a Sunday, the main detectives that were working on this case had worked late into the night on September 2nd and then come back in first thing in the morning on September 3rd and worked all day September 3rd. And then we had planned on coming in at about noon on September 4th, which we did. And during a meeting with lots of the upper heads of the Wichita Falls Police Department, and we were involved in this meeting, we were advised that there had been a traffic stop made by some patrol officers and that there was a possible suspect in this crime involved in this traffic stop. So we left that meeting and went to that location of that traffic stop.
And so the murder and aggravated assault that occurred on that Friday, on a scale for Wichita County, Wichita Falls, the city of Wichita Falls, would you consider that a small case or a large case?
Large.
And it's high profile?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you know if the victims had known the suspect?
That's what we were trying to determine all, Friday afternoon, Friday night, all day Saturday is what and at that time we did not have any indication that there was any kind of relationship there or that the victim knew the suspect. No, ma'am.
Does that make it more difficult when you're investigating a murder?
Yes, ma'am. It opens it up to anyone. Anyone could have done this because we had pretty much at that point, I'd say, ruled out most of the opportunity for it to have been someone that the victim knew.
And were you aware if all leads had been exhausted and so they were thinking about bringing in a sketch artist?
Yes, ma'am.
And about that time is when the traffic stop occurred?
Yes, ma'am.
And then once you received information about the traffic stop, what was the location of the person that was pulled over?
I'm not exactly sure of the block number of Southwest Parkway, but it was on Southwest Parkway near Brookdale in a shopping center.
If somebody said Brahms.
It was in the parking lot of Brahms on Southwest Parkway. Yes, ma'am.
And then the suspect was arrested for prohibited weapons because of brass knuckles.
That's correct.
And did you ask the patrol officer to bring the suspect to the Wichita Falls Police Department to be interviewed?
Yes, ma'am.
And did they do that?
Yes.
And did you in fact interview the suspect, Kody Lott?
Yes.
And where did you interview him?
That took place in the Crimes Against Persons interview room, which is equipped with audio and video equipment to record the interview, and it was also recorded on just a digital recorder as a backup system.
And was the defendant, Kody Lott, or suspect then free to leave at any time and go to jail for the prohibited weapon?
Yes.
And Detective, before speaking to the defendant, Kody Lott, did you advise him of his constitutional rights in connection with his privilege against self-incrimination?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you advise the defendant of his right to have an attorney?
Yes.
Did you advise the defendant of his right to remain silent?
Yes.
Did you advise the defendant that anything he said could be used against him?
Yes.
Did you advise the defendant his right to have an attorney present prior to and during his interview
Yes.
or questioning? Did you advise the defendant of his right to have an attorney appointed to him to advise him prior to and during his questioning?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you advise the defendant of his right to terminate the interview at any time?
Yes.
And how did you advise the defendant of those rights?
I read the rights from a rights waiver form that had spaces next to each one of the rights. First of all, you read the thing at the top of it that tells them what you're doing and why you're doing it, and that they have the right to leave and everything like that. And then you read them their rights, each one individually, and ask them after each one of them if they understand, and they have the ability. And then you ask them to put their initials next to that particular right, and which you did.
And then you would sign that document with your badge number?
Yes, ma'am.
And dated also?
Yes, ma'am.
And then you also have a witness that would also sign their name and their badge number?
Yes.
Now, Coach Sean?
Yes, ma'am.
Let me show you what's been marked for identification purposes as State's Exhibit 253 and ask you if you recognize that document.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And what is that document?
That's the rights waiver form that I read to Mr. Lott.
In which you dated and you timed?
Yes.
And who was your witness?
Detective Vermillion.
And this is a true and accurate copy of the waiver of rights under Code of Criminal Procedure 3822 that you had Kody Lott sign freely, voluntarily, and knowingly?
Yes, ma'am.
This time the state would offer what's been marked for identification purposes as State's Exhibit 253.
Subject to the court's power of no national.
It is admitted subject to that prior ruling.
And the person that you had signed that waiver form, is he in the courtroom today?
Yes, ma'am.
And can you identify him in the courtroom?
Yes, ma'am. He's sitting right here at the first table with a gray shirt on.
And ask that the record reflect that the witness is identified the defendant.
The record will so reflect.
And from the date that you spoke to him, interviewed him on September 4th of 2016 until today, does he look different?
Yes, ma'am.
And what's different about today than when you saw him back 2 days after the offense?
His hair is much longer.
And was he more clean shaven at that time during your interview?
Yes, ma'am. He was clean shaven, and his hair was much shorter and seemed lighter colored at the time.
And did the defendant indicate he understood each of the rights that you advised him?
Yes, ma'am.
And after you advised the defendant of his constitutional rights, did he indicate to you that he would agree to waive his constitutional rights and speak to you?
Yes, ma'am.
And you asked the defendant if he would agree to speak to you and give a statement, correct?
Yes.
And did he do that intelligently, knowingly, and freely?
Yes.
Did he appear to be under any delusions or mental illness at the time?
No.
Wasn't acting crazy?
No.
And did the defendant, in fact, agree to provide a statement to you?
Yes.
At any time during the taking of the statement from the defendant, did he request an attorney?
No.
At any time during the taking of the statement from the defendant, did he ask that the interview cease?
No.
At any time, did you coerce or threaten the defendant into giving a statement?
No.
Did you deny the defendant any basic necessities such as restroom, food, or cigarettes?
No.
Did the defendant appear to be under the influence of any narcotic, drug, or alcohol?
No.
And at any time during the statement or interview that you were getting from the defendant, had he appeared to be under any type of delusion or had any type of mental health issue and not understand your questions, what would you have done?
I would have terminated the interview.
And you did not terminate the interview in this case, did you?
No, ma'am.
This time the statement offered is Exhibit 4, which is a full copy of the statement given by Kody Lott on September 4th of 2016.
Court's Exhibit 4 is admitted to the record.
And at this time, the state would offer what's been marked, Detective Allensworth, Did you have an opportunity to view State's Exhibit, the court exhibit and State's Exhibit 252?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and is that a true and accurate copy on State's Exhibit 252 with the redactions as directed by the court?
Yes, ma'am.
This time the state would offer what's the mark of State's Exhibit 252.
Subject to no objection.
It's admitted subject to the prior ruling of the court.
And I ask that I be allowed to publish this.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm told that this statement exceeds 3 hours. We will listen to it till about noon, take our lunch break, and then continue with it when we come back. You may proceed.
Just for the record, today's date is September 4th, 2016. It's about 2:43.
Everyone hear that?
Okay, I'm taking charge of this whole case back, and this is a committee with this whole speech, okay? I don't know you, so what is your last name spelled? L-O-T-T.
Okay.
What's your first name?
Kody Lott.
What's your last name?
Austin, A-U-S-T-I-N,
And what's your date of birth?
1796.
How old are you right
20 years old, so
now? And what is your address, code?
2203 FM 1285, Seymour, Texas, 76380.
761?
380.
What's the phone number I can reach you?
My personal cell phone number is 940-923-2370. And my mom's is 940-224-4245.
Yeah, that's your mom's cell phone number?
The second one, which I mean, she's like the one that takes care of me and stuff, but you know, it's not on my phone.
All right.
You know,
What's her name?
reliable. Christy Rowland, K-R-I-S-T-I, Rowland, R-O-L-A-N-D.
So you must live with her in Seymour.
Well, I live with my grandmother out in Seymour, but I come here to talk about, like, right now, my parents are, my mom and stuff, they're on vacation and we got stuff.
Okay, all right. Where do you work?
I don't work, so,
Are you a student?
no.
Okay. Okay, buddy, since they stopped you out there on Southwest Parkway and placed you under arrest for an offense at this point, which I'm not really interested in, I still have to read you your rights because you're not free to go, okay? As soon as you leave, you're going to go to jail for that offense that they stopped you for. Do you understand that? Okay, so I'm going to fill out this document and read it to you, and I've already stated the date is 9/4/16, and now it's 2:45.
Like I was asking that officer, is there any way, like, can I go to a site board, is there any way I can get, like, a room by myself or something?
At jail?
Yeah, so I was there.
Completely, okay? That's something we're going to get you to talk to the jailers about when you get over there.
Like,
And
I
for sure,
tried to last time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they take care of this for me, that.
unfortunately, we as a WFPD, which Southwest Police Department, don't run the jail, but we can highly suggest
Yeah,
that you take work with you, man.
okay, that's the only thing, man, like, I have to be alone, man.
Exactly.
You know, I'm a little.
Yeah, well, we'll definitely, I'll get the officer that takes you over there to stress that to him and make that suggestion, okay? If we had anything more than that to do with it, I'd certainly help you out, okay? Okay, let me read this to you, okay? Are you listening? All right. It says, I, Kody Lott, date of birth 1/7/96, do hereby this date waive my rights voluntarily, without duress, coercion, unlawful influence or inducement, or promise of reward, clemency, or immunity. I have by my signature read and do understand the following. That number one, I have the right to remain silent and not make any statement at all, and that any statement I make may be used against me in trial. You understand that? Okay, I'm going to give you this pen, beside number one, put your initials, indicating that you understand that. Yeah, there's a space there, actually. And number two says, any statement I make may be used as evidence against me in court. You understand that? Okay. Number advise me prior to and during any question. Do you understand? And number 4, if I am unable to employ a lawyer, I have the right to have a lawyer appointed to advise me prior to and during any question. And number 5, I have the right to terminate this interview at any time. You understand that? Okay. Number 5. And then it says signature right there, so sign my name. And put today's date. Today's the 4th, September 4th. So it's 9, 4, 16. We went to your rights and told you you're going to go to jail after this for charges of that. So keeping those in mind, we'd like to ask you some questions about a case we're investigating, okay? You understand?
And what are going to be like any benefits, like what would be any point in me wanting to discuss anything like that?
Well, basically just to help us out, okay?
I want to help myself if I can do that.
Yeah.
Help y'all out if y'all can help me out. I just don't like have to be in solitary, man.
Right. And that's the main thing I'm going to work on. When you're ready to go from here, I'm going to talk to the officer that takes you over there and see if we can get you definitely put in something by yourself, okay? Well, you don't go to school right now and you don't work anywhere, right? Okay, you live in Seymour. What brings you to Wichita Falls?
Well, my mom and I said they were on vacation, right? It was 7 nights ago. I just came to check on their dog today and there was some dog and picked up some money that my mom had got there, asked her friend to leave me for food, water, gas. That's all I needed, gas.
Okay, so, right before the officer stopped you on Southwest Parkway, right outside Brahms, where had you been before that?
Santa Fe Apartments,
Santa Fe Apartments?
Hadley Bay.
Okay. Immediately prior to him stopping you, you had just come from Santa Fe Apartments?
Yeah.
How'd you get over there? What route?
What route did I get to the Santa Fe
Well,
Apartments?
from the Santa Fe Apartments to over there by Brahms. I mean, it's kind of
Seymour Road, Seymour Road, the Seymour Highway, and then Barnett.
right? Okay. Seymour Road, Seymour Highway, and then all the way up Barnett Road, Southwest Parkway. Am I spot on? So
Straight up Barnett Road, because I turned in and found the apartments off Barnett Road.
okay. I misunderstood you then. So you did, so right prior to the stopping, you came from the Fountain Gate Apartments?
Yes. I thought you were asking me, okay. So yeah, okay, Santa Fe Apartments, Fountain Gate, and then...
Okay. And what were you doing at the Santa Fe Apartments?
Well, my mom has an apartment there that, like, she lets me stay at and stuff, and I need just to be by myself, because, like, I was like, I just have to be by myself.
Is it where she lives? Is it her apartment?
It's in her name. It's just when she opened up for me, so I would have, so, like, I would have some place when I come to Wichita, because they don't like me to stay there. If I come to visit, it's okay, here's your little sheet just for one room to seclude yourself.
So it's in Christy Rowland's name?
Yeah.
Okay. And it's not in your name at all? It's not Christy Rowland and...
I tell you what, my follow is, I'm not 100% sure on the lease.
On the lease on the apartment?
Like, to me, like, that's just her apartment, like,
Okay, but she doesn't live there at all? Where does she live?
Fountain Gate.
Oh, she lives in the same complex, but not at
Santa Fe is way down the road, that's Avenue K, Santa Fe Apartments, and she lives on Fountain Gate.
So Santa Fe Apartments is where you have an apartment that's just in your name?
No, it's in her name, I guess.
Right, okay. So, you sometimes stay in an apartment in Santa Fe Apartments that Christy Rowland has leased for you. It's a place that you can just kind of be there for yourself.
The hers that she lets me use.
I got you. But your mother actually lives and resides in Fountain Gate Apartments. I got you. Which apartment number?
Her apartment at Fountain Gate is 179.
And who does she live there with?
Brian Rowland, her husband, and that's it. BRY.
Okay, they're in Redosa right now.
Yes, sir.
How long have they been in Redosa?
They left like Wednesday or Thursday or Tuesday, early as last week.
You said you're there.
It's a Yorkie, a silver Yorkie, it's a small silver Yorkie.
Okay, so that's what you were doing over there is taking care of their dog?
Yeah, I was checking the welfare of the dog, and
And how often did you go there and do that?
once a week probably, I come to see her.
No, I mean, while they're out of town.
While they're out of town, I've only been over there once,
When was that?
yesterday.
Saturday?
Yes,
Saturday, Sunday? So,
I got the last one like this.
yeah, but they left on like Wednesday or Thursday or something?
Yeah, they left Thursday.
So who was taking care of the Yorkie?
They left this Saturday, and I go over and I feel like we survive,
Right.
And like maybe my stepbrother, man, like, I don't know, Jordan Roman, like, that's what I'm saying, like, my mom just helps me, man, like, I'm just a nuisance to her, man, like, I'm not not involved in the family thing. I don't know, they might have stepbrother, she has friends.
What's your stepbrother's name?
Jordan Nolan.
How old is he?
One of the people he has on.
Yeah, I got you. Sure.
He's like 26 or something.
Where does he live?
I don't know, he was in some apartment, I've seen him on my way or something, and,
You have anything to do with him or no?
I mean, we're cool, man, but we are like what I'm saying, man, like, I just totally, like, I'm by myself, man, I'm on my own, and every night I have to, my mom's the only person that has been helping me.
Yeah, okay.
I haven't had anything to do with me.
Right, okay. So maybe Jordan will take care of the dog.
Yeah,
Well, you weren't. So there's no set schedule that you told your mom, or she asked you, go by please every day, 3 times a
She
day?
didn't know I was gonna go back today, but there was no say, I had a key and stuff, so he let me know.
Okay, so you went by there today, checked on the door key. How long were you there? Like,
Just came, I just walked in and walked out, I walked in, gave the dog some food, water, walked out.
and did you have to, take up food there? Did you have to take any food with you or anything, or
No.
did you take anything else in there
I
with
think
you?
I had a friend leave $50 for me to get some food, water, gas.
And did you pick that up today? Okay. When you went in that day, was anybody with you or anything?
No.
Did you take anything in there with you?
I took my blanket and made a wash. My comforter, my dad's comforter, just a blanket to sleep on,
Yeah.
just to wash it, that's what I do my laundry at their house.
Oh, did you start that to wash? Did you start the washing? Didn't? So you left the blanket there?
Yeah, I just left it.
Okay. Anything else that you had with you in your hands when you were in there, other than a blanket? Was it just folded up or wadded up? Or
Yeah, I just had a blanket, just wrapped up, and folded up, because I grabbed the blanket.
Okay. There wasn't anything else, nothing else. Okay, so you were there for 10 minutes or whatever, got some money they left you, got your blanket off. Are you going to go back and do your laundry or wash it?
Yeah, so to be honest, sir, I have a big truck out man. I was gonna go get some pot and then start doing stuff, man. I'm trying to just get, I was trying to get high, so I was gonna, I was like, fuck it. I threw the blanket, grabbed the money, and I've been close right now, putting on the opiates. I got 3 months, 4 months of taking like 100 milligrams of opiates every day.
Right.
Pot,
Now, what kind of opiates?
ibuprofen,
Okay. And we mentioned somebody else using it, but you're kind of saying you're coming off of it or something.
Yeah.
Been any available or anything, or what?
I don't have money, like I've been just hassling my mom, like she's out of money, I put my family on.
Right. How long would you say you've been,
Like 2 hours.
yeah.
It's like 24 hours.
Oh, really? So yesterday, let's say on Saturday, since today's Sunday, did you have it yesterday?
I didn't have any yesterday.
So how about on Friday?
On Friday,
Would have been 2 days ago.
2 days ago. Yeah.
You had some?
Yeah.
Would you remember what you had?
Yeah, I took 4 10 milligram ibuprofen.
Okay. And about what time of the day was out on Friday?
It was 3 early in the morning, 10 milligram.
10 milligram hydro? At about 10 a.m.? Did you have anything else that day?
No.
Okay. Where were you when you did that?
I really don't want to say anything about that.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I definitely don't. I don't want you to. I'm not trying to give you information about where you did or anything.
I just don't want to talk about where, was if I was at somebody's house.
Okay, yeah, because I'm not trying to get, I don't want to talk to everybody you do this stuff. Can you at least tell me, were you at your apartment on Santa Fe?
I don't believe so.
Were you at your mom's apartment on,
I was out taking my father, and I was home. That's what it feels like. I was home and getting jammed all day.
okay. You said you took them about 10 a.m. in Albany.
Yeah.
And what time did you come back to something else?
Well, I didn't come back to Wichita till late that night, about 8 or so. I went to Albany from Wichita in the morning, and then I went and got pills, went back to my grandma's house, which I was about 2203 at 1285. About 5 or so, 5 in the afternoon, I went back to Albany, got something her pills, and then I got to Wichita about 8 o'clock.
Okay. And are you pretty much always, your only vehicle you drive is the Chevy Tahoe?
No, that's why some of the officers, I have 2 sets of keys, and right across where that bowling at 7-Eleven is, there's an engine lock, because I like to rent a bunch of boards. I had to pull my car in there because I had gotten over radiator with some engine lock in on me. So I just started driving the car again recently, last week, when I went on vacation. So.
Who's it? Is it yours?
Yeah, it's my mom's and in my name, so really like, it's my mom, like I wanted them to be able to sell it and make money off of it.
So it broke down a while back, but you've been driving it for a week or so.
Yeah, I didn't really break down last week, like, I have a lot of miles, and
Yeah.
so I was wondering,
When you were driving that, what were you driving?
the 2006 Chevy Avea, but I got, we're calling it 2006 Chevy Avea, my dad got.
Is
7-Eleven, Barnett.
Yeah.
It's right across.
I know the building you're talking about, it's on the land building, it's for sale, or whatever. Still one's a business sitting there right now, and that's, the other one's usually broken down or something?
Yeah, it's right now, engine lock up on it, so it's done, I just left it.
All right, and that's when you started driving Tahoe?
Yeah.
Okay. Has anybody else been driving it or anything, or is it since, I mean, you're back and forth from Seymour to only
I don't
where it is?
believe anybody else is driving the Tahoe. I do a pretty good job, like, I kept in their car covered, I kept up with the spare key, make sure nobody had really access to it.
Does anybody else have keys to it or anything?
No. I mean, I had a spare key like in my wallet, but nobody does.
Okay. So, today, I'm just gonna kind of, I don't want to miss anything, so today you went over there, feed the dog, you went inside, took your laundry in there, you left, and after about 10 minutes, and where were you headed today?
Just picked up some pot on the east side of town.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Okay. And what did they arrest you for? You got hit with your name?
Like I had bought these brass knuckles at the West Gate called the Western Days Club in Ringling, Oklahoma. That's where I went to school.
Right.
I was about 10 years old. I was a fourth grade. And people told me this pair of what looked like brass knuckles, but they said these are butt buckle. So if you ever get, in trouble, just know there's a butt buckle and they can't get in trouble. So I always had that understanding. So I got something that's been 8, 10 years. And,
And this is the first time you've gotten asked about everything?
yeah.
Huh. Well, that's crazy. Are there any other weapons or anything like that in your Tahoe?
No,
Nothing.
nothing.
Are there any firearms parts, firearms cases?
I don't have any
ammunition?
firearms.
So there's nothing like that in your Tahoe?
No.
There wouldn't be anything like that in your Tahoe?
No.
Any ammunition?
No.
Any spent ammunition? No reason for that to be in there. You don't mess around with any guns?
I used to have my grandma's other down on, but my grandma's way out in the country. So I shot guns, and
How long ago?
the last time I shot was probably it was over a year ago.
Who's your, what buddy?
Eric Blaze,
Where does he live?
Boo. I really don't want to go
I'm not trying to get Eric in trouble.
no, I don't even want him to talk to.
So you shot some guns with Eric about a year ago.
Yeah.
Last time you would have even been around.
Right. That's all.
Okay. Were they your guns or his guns?
He had it in one of his guns,
Yeah.
which was a SKS,
Mm-hmm.
and I had 22.
Yeah.
So my grandma's other one down was both action.
Both action 22. Rifle?
Yeah.
Okay. You still have that?
Yeah, she took my grandma's.
And Seymour?
Yeah.
Okay. And you don't have any, when y'all were shooting those guns a year ago, what vehicle were you driving?
I thought we had my Tahoe.
You were?
Yeah. But like I said, I used to be able kind of to get away with guns, but there was an incident that happened last summer where I had to go to a psych ward for 2 months. So ever since then, my grandma's kept the guns and stuff away from me. Nobody has let me have access to my guns or nothing like that. If they know what's up with me, they know not to do that.
Okay.
They know just to, treat me like I'm a kid.
Okay. The reason I'm asking you about this is on Friday, we had an incident here that took place in Wichita Falls that we're investigating where somebody fired some shots from a vehicle that matches the description of your vehicle. And that's, were you around on Friday or could that have been you and we're just
I was in Albany, man.
all day?
Yeah. Okay. So 8 o'clock. I was in Wichita at 8 p.m.
And is there somebody that can, you were there doing drugs and stuff, so it's
I
not like,
don't know about you.
yeah,
I didn't need the name of the lady's house. I was at because she's kind of tied in, but she's not on bad terms with the car.
well, go ahead if you don't, go ahead if you don't mind.
Casey Jones or Casey Calvin, which first name, that's what I know about. Dewana Jones is what she's going by.
Okay, so you said Casey Jones, Casey Calvin, and
No, Dewana.
Dewana.
The Casey's her middle name.
Ah,
Dewana Casey Jones or Calvin.
is she white, black, or Hispanic?
She's white, but I wasn't doing drugs or anything. She just knows that I was there, man. She knows I was
How
there.
do you know?
She's just been real good to me since I was 14 years old. I had a girlfriend that was a piece of crap, man, and I go to her, and she's helped me, so
Okay. You know woman?
I don't know.
So you just try to find out Dewana, Casey Jones, or
Yeah,
Calvin.
she's the only person that knows I was an only man, so I got my time to do her that, and I don't know what I'm saying, that she
And you were there at least, we know you were there at 10 a.m., you're saying, and you said you were there until at least 5?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, well, yeah, I was there, I came back about 5 from my grandma's house.
Right. Okay.
they came to Wichita after, like, I spent about an hour or two actually, but,
Okay. So you're saying that this investigation we're conducting absolutely could not be you? Okay. Because, I'm just gonna be honest with you, in the area where you were seen coming from today is where the shooting took place. And, we have witnesses that have pointed out a vehicle that matches your vehicle's description. And, you know, maybe ironically, you kind of match the description of the suspect. So you know what I'm saying? Yeah, and this is, you know, this is a pretty serious situation we're investigating.
I know.
How do you know?
I mean, how could you, anybody not know? It's all over the news.
So you know what I'm talking about, right?
I know.
Okay. Where somebody got shot? Okay. And that wasn't you?
No, sir. I understand the description, I had seen the description and everything the whole time.
You saw what description?
Of the white male,
Right.
shaggy brown hair, and then they changed the description of the vehicle to a white vehicle.
Did you, when they did that, you know, it's kind of, I'm interested to know, when they did that, did you think about maybe raising a flag and saying, and getting in touch with somebody and saying, hey, that kind of matches my description, but it definitely wasn't me?
I mean, my mom asked me that day, she said there was a shooting by the house, blah, blah, blah. You know, I was out in the Army, I told you what I just told you, I told her what I just told you about me being in the Army and everything like that. I said, I just was checking my phone, my mom texted me and said, so 2 girls just got shot right by blah, blah, blah. She said, where are you at? I said, I'm home, you know. That's it.
Well, so that ought to be able to be confirmed through your phone.
That's
Searching on your phone.
Absolutely.
What tower it hit and everything. What kind of phone you have?
It's a Samsung Galaxy 4 Mini. It's a mini, version. But yeah, they'll be able to see that when I do text her and stuff. I wasn't on.
A Samsung Galaxy 4 Mini.
Yes, sir.
Is it in your vehicle right now?
Yes, sir.
What color?
It has like a bluish, dark, carbon type cover, you know, that black and
It's a black phone, but it has a blue cover.
well, not a cover, I just mean like the black, that piece of where the battery is kind of like a carbon fiber.
No.
Is that a password?
No, sir.
No, sir. So you just open it up and it locks?
Absolutely. Okay. Well, again, like I said, if what you're saying is true, then it will definitely will have hit a tower.
Yeah.
Not in the area of your mom's apartment at that time period. Okay, so, you know, you know all about the shooting that I'm investigating, and you're saying you weren't here, you were on. You have to admit it's ironic that you drive the vehicle that matches the description and you match the description. Another bit of information is that, did you, before I was ever involved in this, when you were just out there in the parking lot beside Ron's and you were speaking to a control officer, did you give them at least verbal consent to look into your vehicle?
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah.
Okay. And one of them did?
Yeah, and they found those grass up there.
And do you know if they found anything else?
No.
Well, they found a spent .22 shell casing. Right.
Yeah, that's why I said my grandma she has a bolt action 22 rifle.
And so if that is found, I haven't actually looked myself, but if that's in there, then you're attributing that to this time in the past when you were with Eric Blaze shooting off the road.
Yeah.
Is that what you're shooting off the road?
Yeah.
So were you actually shooting from your vehicle? Or just parked on the side of the road and you got out of your vehicle and shot?
Well, to be honest, that day I was just the driver. I was letting him, he had never shot his SKS, so he was bought from his uncle. So I let him go ahead and he shot a coyote. And we're on the back road, doing off the back road. He shot his one coyote, that's it.
So you didn't even fire your .22 that day?
He might have, though. I think Eric did. I don't know. I do like drugs, man. I don't know. Eric might have fired both of them, you know, so I didn't fire.
Okay.
I didn't fire that day.
Have not fired a gun from your car since that day?
I didn't fire a gun in a long time.
And so you don't own any other guns?
That's so.
Okay. Are there any guns right now in your mother's, Christy Rowland's apartment, 179? You don't know, because it's not your apartment, right? You don't know just right off the top of your head, though, that your mom or Ryan has some guns?
No, I don't know.
Have you taken any guns and put them in there?
No.
Okay.
No, I just have one phone, sir. 923-2370.
Okay. 923-2270, okay. So there's no other phones in your truck, is that? Okay. Are there no other phones in your truck, just the one phone? Okay. All right. You pretty apprised on man, and you've seen all the posts, and you've seen all the
I've
news.
seen all about it.
What other vehicle are we looking for then?
So it's supposed to be a black truck with chrome running boards.
Right?
Yeah.
What can you tell me about that? Do you know anybody that drives a vehicle
Well,
that
no
matches
chrome
that?
boards, and I'll tell you that my stepdad does have a black Ford pickup, but it's been hard. You can ask anybody, you know, it hasn't like moved since they've been gone.
Is this Brian?
Yes, sir.
Where is it parked?
Right in front of their house in Calvert.
It's a black Ford pickup. Okay. And
Even if I would never use someone else's truck to do any kind of illegal activity.
of course not. Of course not. Do you have keys to that truck, or where are the keys to it?
You know, I'm sure it's electronic. Sure it's electronic.
Right. Did they drive to Rio?
Yeah, my mom has a one that says it's through.
Yeah, most likely, I guess maybe just speculate at this point, but is there any reason why Brian would take his truck keys all the way to Landavazo when Christie is driving in a Honda Civic?
Is there a reason?
Yeah.
So nobody messes with his truck and stuff. I mean, that's how I am. I take my things and make sure nobody can you my shit. I'm sorry, but
That might be, yeah, I can see that. Did you learn behavior from maybe some of the people that you end up
absolutely.
Yeah, you're leaving your stuff around people that you end up associating.
No.
And who do you, I mean, do you have some other friends that are not here around in Wichita Falls with?
I'm really in Wichita Falls. That's why I was telling the officer. When I first came to Wichita, I ran out of Valley Drive, I went down on some of those federal indictments and stuff for meth. You know, they're doing 20, 30 years. You know.
Okay. Who do you go around with?
I'm isolated, man. Like, I'm 100% myself. Like I told you, I was like that baby's the only person that I talk to in all this.
Okay, let me go back to that for just a second, because I'm interested in that. When you go to jail, you're going to be by yourself.
Yeah.
And you're adamant about that.
I'm just trying to.
Why is that?
Man, because I've been hurt, man. My dad, man, when I was young, man.
Your actual...
Yeah, my old dad used to do horrible things to me, my mom, man. It's a safetyness.
Okay, I get that. I don't want to upset you. I don't want to go down that path, but you were abused by your dad.
Well, yeah, and I've seen that, like, some of us say so much to me. I've never been, like, he stuck his hand down my pants when I was a young kid, but he never, sexually, had sex with me,
Right.
but he, molested me, and then...
Which is just as damaging. But
Yeah,
yeah.
I didn't know what was going on, and now that I look back on it, it's like, I'm already a little dude, man, like what else?
Right.
I'm not even a man, man, so I'm trying to go in, you guys in prison and in jail, man, those are real men, and I can't go in everything, I never go in, I have to deal with my trades and everything, man. So that's why I do, because I don't have to just deal with my food and stuff, get down on the boats, whatever, something, but...
Oh, yeah, I totally understand that. For 3 years, I investigated crimes against children, and Detective Vermillion is currently assigned to that very unit right now. So we both have experience in investigating the stuff that you're talking about. We've sat across from in the same room with lots of children that have been abused, and we've seen the scars that it leaves, okay? So I totally understand that, all right? And probably the last time you went to jail, that wasn't completely conveyed to the people that work at the jail, and we'll try to get that.
I've done it before, yeah, because now I've been to the psych ward now, and they said that I had a problem and stuff.
Okay.
So that's, and that, I just know, I'm like, just put that off, because it'll be plenty of time to let my brain go with drugs if they do, because, to be honest, man, that's not good medicine. I'm just trying to, talk people out in the street that, okay, but when I do drugs, man, it's like, like I said, man, my dad's a Satanist, and I know, it's worship, so.
And that's the reason you need this other apartment.
Because my mom's
basically to be to have some alone time, right?
yeah, because my mom's been worried about me.
And what's your apartment number over there?
213, like I told him, I do have well, not anybody, I have a knife there, and I have just a pipe that I was going to say, just a marijuana pipe, but I have a knife there also.
Okay. I'm going to ask you the same question over there. Are there any firearms over there?
No,
Waters or
there's not.
That's, you know what, I mean, that's...
I just want to be honest.
Yeah, I appreciate your honesty.
Because I didn't know I was going to come for the brass knuckles, like I was really surprised, and so now I'm just kind of like, I'm willing to cooperate.
And I'm not saying,
Anyway possible.
I don't know the terms of your probation, but I'm not saying you're going to get any trouble if you have any firearms or firearms.
I don't
Anything over there, okay? Because it's in your apartment.
I know, I'm just saying that you can search that thing and talk about it. I'm not
You're not gonna have it, okay.
I had a million to buy a firearm. I had to, I've been honestly, that's the reason I'm dressing up as a knife, because I had to have something to protect myself if I'm engaged in a altercation.
Well, I'm going to go back about down the path that we've been talking about here. You're saying that you are doing anything you can possibly do to help us and be cooperative in our investigation.
Absolutely.
And
As long as because
I'll be honest, you are. But think before we even came in this room that, 2 little girls were hurt by somebody. And, whoever did this, we don't want that to happen to anybody else. Probably, I mean, from my experience, whoever did this probably needs some help. Now, what happened to the girls is terrible, but whoever did this definitely needs some help, man. And I'm talking about some serious psychological help. And how are they going to get that unless we can find out who did that and help them? You know, and do you have any, no feelings towards, other people other than your dad or anybody?
No, the only thing I would say is that my stepbrother, he's got long brown hair, and they did say something about he might come by and get a gun. I mean, you can confirm that. Yeah, you can confirm that with my mom. My mom, Jordan, yeah, she told me over text message, she said, Jordan might come by and get Brian's gun.
When is this?
It was when they first left. Yeah, she was telling me ahead of time.
Oh, okay, but did she tell you, like, when, what gun you were about to get, or what kind of gun it was?
No, she really didn't.
She just texted you.
This can be,
Your mom texted you and said Jordan might come by the apartment and get Brian's gun. And why would she do that? Why would she notify you of that? Like, give you an idea?
I don't know, that's what, I don't know. She's not that kind of man. She's very verbal. Like, she tells how she feels. She just tells what's going on. She likes to communicate.
Yeah.
So she was always telling me that somebody's going to come by.
Right. Now, Jordan, you just now basically told me he's got brown hair. Did you see him on Friday?
No, to be honest, I didn't see him. I haven't seen him in a long time, man.
But it's possible he came by there.
Oh, yeah, and I seen him driving my stepdad's truck when he was moving, and I said, you know what? Brian let him get that truck in right. So I trust him because he's done tore up everything. Like, Jordan tore up that. He has a little actor, his dad dog, and his dad dog had a blazer before because he was doing heroin. So he broke that blazer when he was on heroin.
Jordan? Yeah. He's doing heroin? So, okay, let's talk about Jordan.
Yeah, let's talk about Jordan.
Where does Jordan actually live?
He lives off Seymour Highway in some apartment.
You don't even know where?
No, man.
What does he do?
He works at his uncle's, Brian's phone.
Oh, Brian Rowland owns Brian's own.
No. His ex-wife's brother is Brian Walser.
Oh, all right. So he does that often. So Jordan works for Brian's phone.
That's his uncle. Like his brother is Brian Walser, and his dad is Brian Walser.
Okay. So Jordan Rowland, Brian Rowland works for, Jordan Rowland works for Brian's Plumbing. You're indicating that he also has a drug problem.
He did.
What is he? Oh, he did.
Well, see, what he does now is that stuff called kratom, which is supposed to be treated for opiate and heroin stuff. That you just go to Hot Wire or a smoke shop, and it's Kratom, Kraton.
You have just moved out of my area.
Oh man, I never heard of it either. But he came with it one day, and they put it in like an orange juice, and I did try it, and it's similar to opiate, but the next day you're sick, man, and it's really not worth it. But it's like it's legal, and he got pulled over with something, and they tested it, and because he had to get it from overseas on his website, it had amphetamine in it, which is odd because it's supposed to be opiate, right? So they tested positive for amphetamine, and went ahead and they seized his car. He just got it back, and he was he just now signed, I think, the probation over all that, and so he's had his little share of the law. Like, I'm not trying to throw him under the bus.
I don't want him implicated.
That's what I'm just telling y'all about this right now. We're telling y'all who he is and what he does.
So it lean you off of the opiates?
Yeah, like the stuff he does, yeah.
So it's kind of like not getting on the stuff that you
But I think it ends up pulling you just into it just as much, yeah.
So, Jordan, I haven't talked to him in a while. Have you had any, even a fear that he might have been involved
To
in
be
this?
honest, I'll tell you right now, I don't know.
Really? Because, it's
It's just, yeah, I gotta tell you, man, it's like, I know I wasn't involved, and I've been, I've been kind of down seeing that, but like I said today, man, I'm not, I said, you know what, that description's similar, but I'm just gonna go to my mom's apartment, because I don't have nothing to be scared of, I didn't do nothing wrong.
Okay.
So I went there about my business, and I got pulled over, and it really wasn't a surprise to me.
Okay.
I was like, okay, well, it was a surprise when they started going in there, and everybody started, it was a big ordeal, everybody showing up, and it looked like the public hangings back in the day.
Yeah.
The actual, is it broken down, does it work?
It works, but it doesn't have any chrome on it or nothing like that, but it's a solid black F-150, single cab.
It's not blocks or anything like that?
No.
Same cab.
Okay.
Okay.
Is that your partner's now?
Yes.
Is that?
Yes, sir. And like I said, that's my stepdad's truck and everything, and they have have maybe out of town, like I said, if anything would happen, with that truck, then I know that truck hasn't been driven, something wrong. I mean, like I said, because that's what I mean. I don't know if he leaves Jordan his keys. I can't speak about it. That's not something I for sure know or for sure don't know. It's a possibility because I've seen him driving his truck before.
How old is Jordan? I mean, you probably told me.
Close to 30, like he's getting close to 30, 20 miles, he may be 30. But he's in his late 20s for, he's
Is he married?
No.
No, he's not married. Okay.
That's why, I'm not trying to throw myself under the bus or anything like that, because I'm not that type of person to do that, but it's just I tried to seek out loyalty from him, and I kind of got screwed over. So it's just kind of
Did he also have problems with your dad?
well, see, we have different dads.
Never mind, he's
He's Brian's son on his own thing, my mom only has me with a man from Oklahoma.
So you slept with him?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, again, we're just being honest with each other right now. So our investigation has led us down a path where we believe that actually the vehicle that matches your description and the vehicle that matches the black truck description that you've seen them both in the news posts and stuff.
Description.
Ms. Johnson, let's stop it
We
there.
actually believe, and this is going to be new information to you, but we think they were together. We think they
We'll
were
pick up
together.
after lunch with Officer Killingsworth's statements at this point.
How do you not believe that? Just because, like my stepdad's had this truck's been parked there. I just,
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll take our lunch break now for 1:30. Please try to be back at the courthouse between 1:15 and 1:30. Remember my prior instructions to you, and be sure that Mr. Thompson has your notes before you leave. Ladies and gentlemen, we're in recess.
Information to you, but we think they were together. We think they were there at the same time.
I'll tell you right now, I don't believe that.
How do you not believe that?
Just because, like my stepdad's had this truck's been parked there. I've just been sitting there. I have neighbors. One of my neighbors is a police officer. He drives a little black. The paint's faded on it. No, right there, tower. It's a little black Eclipse. Like a neighbor.
The neighbor, one of your parents.
Yes, right beside their apartment, and he has a blonde wife or girlfriend, and she drives a little Toyota car. They could bear witness to that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we may be doing that face, but I'm just telling you, this is what our investigation has shown us. So I'm talking to lots of witnesses, lots of people. So, I'm going to tell you right now, if you were involved in this, but you didn't do anything, if you didn't shoot anybody, but you were there, or you were driving down Trinidad and happened, and you have nothing at all to freaking do with it, then tell me that now, man, because I want to clear you and get you on your way. But if it's the opposite, if you were there and you have any information about it, then tell me right now, man, because I don't want to get you hung up in something that you didn't have anything at all to do with. You know what I'm saying? That's how I feel with the brass knuckles. That's what I have on as well. The brass knuckles kind of, I'm fucked. So it kind of seemed like a silly charge to me. But absolutely, unfortunately, I can't do anything about that right now. But this other thing, it's serious. It's very serious. So if you were driving down Trinidad, and at the same time all this happened, then right now we need to tell you that, man. Seriously. Because, yeah. Like my stepbrother, my stepdad, they had been nowhere around at that time, nothing. Okay, where were they? My stepdad's in Rito, so was my mom, my stepbrother's, I don't know. He never came by. Like, they never came by. But you were driving after that one, which you were because. Okay. But, I mean, do you know who was behind you in the black truck? Possibly Marlon Raider. Well, who the hell is Marlon Raider? My ex-girlfriend that, like I was with for a long time, and all of a sudden she's with him and stuff. So I don't know, man. She's with who? Marlon Raider. No, I worked with this kid, Marlon Raider, that I used to go to school with, and I've been kind of exchanging words with him over Facebook, and he always drives kind of like he's stalking me or something. Well, what's his freaking story? He has a black truck and black. He painted the wheels black like a tint. They have a black cloud over them. He's got chrome door handles, chrome side steps. Now, I don't know, man. I tell you right now, I'm not good with him. He was my absolute enemy. And it's like, I believe that he was lying, Well, as you you've seen me before earlier that day, where were you coming from when you were driving that train? Where did you come from?
On the wrong department.
Okay. And did you see him prior to that? When you,
I'd seen him like the day before, I'll tell you that right now, I've seen him at the end of Lawrence and Lebanon, when turning towards Walmart, we came off that expressway. I've been seeing, yes, everywhere I go, this kid's, I've been seeing him pop up.
Right.
And I haven't been after him, I've been trying to keep my composure, but it's like, this kid's been, he's already done it up to me, man, like, he's lucky, that I haven't tried to, like, I never went to his house or nothing, I never tried to altercation, I told him, like, let's try being on men to men, like, stop doing all this, like, start messing with my wife and stuff,
you was all that shit?
Yeah, man, I'm sure he was like,
Who's your ex-girlfriend?
Haley Clayton, they live in the Garble over Kansas and stuff.
And so, Marlon has been stalking you and following you around and shit, and you already had words with him, so he was possibly following you down Trinidad, and just left your mom's apartment. And suddenly, I mean, how did these girls get involved in it?
I don't know, man, like, when I heard, like, I was down the road, like, there was nobody freaking out or nothing around me. I was driving, there was kids.
Did you see him?
No,
I didn't listen to the girls. I mean, did you see him? You saw he was walking and
So
stuff?
that was when I turned where Tyler is. When I started getting down Trinidad is when I saw the kids like right out of southwest of Trinidad, just like little males. Couple males, nobody was freaking out. Like, everybody was in harmony.
But you didn't see anybody back there?
That's what I didn't even look back, man. That's like, I pulled out of those apartments. It was like I got in school let out there close to it.
Well, let me ask you this. Since you thought Marlon was probably, you're saying possibly Marlon, and you may not want to get him and end up in this situation, but can you tell me for sure it was Marlon that was behind you?
Yeah,
Absolutely. Marlon was fucking behind you, in his truck.
Yeah.
Were you driving fast trying to get away from him, or what? No? Just driving normal? Did you stop in the middle of the road or anything and have any words with him or anything?
No.
No? It seems like somebody stopped in the middle of the road, and I don't know if they had an altercation or what. So if you stopped in the middle of the road and had an altercation with Marlon, or were gonna have an altercation with Marlon, but then you drove away, I mean, shit, just tell us, dude.
No, man, like, that's not what happened. Man.
Well, what happened? 'Cause that's what we're trying to figure out.
I know, but like, I need help. I need help. Like, that's a jail situation. I was working in solitary. That's not a big
That's basically nothing. If you want to be in solitary,
Yeah.
we can take care of that shit.
I'll call in the service over there.
We can take care of that shit. So what happened?
I'll tell you the story, man. What they put, this is, just get ready, man. This is a story, okay? So just have patience. Let me finish if you don't
I'm
mind.
not gonna fucking interrupt you, bro.
All right, man.
Marlon and I don't deal, that has nothing to do with it. But,
Like, I've had problems, with females for a while now. I mean, you can ask anybody I know, and they'll tell you absolutely that's something Kody would do. They'll say absolutely he has hate disorder. They tell you that I talk about doing shit like that all the time. And I've seen that girl out there multiple times with her boyfriend. Her boyfriend was just a little punk-looking kid that wasn't no man. So it kind of just sparked a jealousy in me, man. And I felt that was the way I was going to handle it.
okay.
So I'll make it short, man. I'll make it short. That's really all there is to it, man.
I mean, I totally understand. I mean, so, but tell me more specifically, I mean, what did you do then? What happened?
Well, the day before, I got all dressed up, and I was going to just go approach the girl, and I thought, man, they're rocking from the middle school, man. Those fucking girls are gone. So then that again pissed me off, I was like, fucking, I just can't win for nothing. Every girl I try to be respectful to and be nice to, man, they say, Renaissance says, crazy. The definition of crazy is just repeating the same thing. So it's like, it's an obvious thing that, I guess, just, me being, looking how I do or whatever, me being nice is something that wasn't going to get me nowhere. I had to try something else, because it's like, it's just, all these girls were just ignoring me and disrespecting me, and all I ever wanted was an opportunity to be respectful and treat a girl right, because I knew this girl was going to end up getting raped here in a couple of years. There's all kinds of evil going on there. So in my mind, I saved her from the evil of this world, and also was kind of a sacrifice to the devil, because I've been talking to the devil a lot, and he's the one that told me to do that, because I was sitting underneath the gun, and I was watching them. I was watching out the window, man, waiting for them she'd be walking by herself every day. So Lauren was the only target in the ordeal. And I saw her walk by with her friends, and they, I'll tell you right now, when I started walking the bike, I said, oh, hell no, we're not going to go down this path. So I felt something charge me up, and I jumped in my car, and I just met him at that end of the alley, man, and I unloaded on him.
Okay. And you were in your Tahoe? Okay.
So the black truck, that was an optical people misidentify the vehicles. That's what I'm saying. I was surprised that I had lasted so long. Man, I was watching the news. I was reading everyone's comments on Facebook. Man, I was watching it. I said, man, what if I wanted to go into the fucking mall and we should say where I have that? I was like, no, man, that was a specific thing I did. That was something that was not something that was just spontaneous. Like, that was more planned out.
Exactly. Well, I mean, how did you know her name?
I didn't know her name till the murder, till we see it out.
Oh, I know.
Now I know that. I didn't know nothing about her.
And it charged you up when you started walking with the black girl. I mean, so, did you shoot at her too?
Well, not intentionally. No, she just didn't want to leave her friend's side.
She got hit.
She didn't want to leave her friend, man. And it got to me, man. That's why when I told you that, I said, I know she would have told you how much on me I was crying, bawling. I told her story that I witnessed her about the child and I was an 8th grade. She would have told you that story. It'd be talking about watching a girl get killed.
Right.
And her, because I shot her with a 22, man, and I thought she was going to die. Like, I'm loading on her. But this is what happened, man. Yes, I pulled it up like this, right? And I just looked at her. I didn't say a word. And I reached over and I pulled the gun up like this and put it on the window. And she looked at me like the black friend stopped, like, oh, fuck. She kind of looked at me like I was joking and kind of went to go on about her business. Yeah, so I just started, and her black friend was like right next to her, and the third one had ran off. You know, and I'll tell you the truth, I'm going to be truthful, man, because I'm already fucked. So when I saw the black friend just standing there, I was like, what the fuck, you know, like, so I popped a few rounds at her, and I guess I hit her, but to be honest, I didn't think I hit her because I wasn't aiming. I was just free like in a video game or something.
Yeah.
And when I shot, when the other girl got hit or whatever, a woman just fell on the ground. And I thought she was dead already. That's why I was hoping for her to quickly.
Right.
But she started, like, when an animal or something gets like caught in a trap, or like when something happens, and it's not anything that person is trying to do. It's a natural letting out of a natural life force. She started just wailing, like just screaming. She let out just about 2 or 3 of those screams, and it got my attention, man. Everybody was screaming down the fucking thing. When she let out those just shrieks, I just instantly turned. I started just unloading as fast as I could, trying to hit her in the head. And I did.
Right.
And she instantly, she only let out two screams, man. 2 screams. I didn't want her to suffer.
Because you were just trying to go ahead and
I wanted her, I did not want her to suffer. I did not want her to suffer at all. Because I know about kids who have been abducted in church families and then ended up tied up and get ritually cut and slowly drained of their life force into satanic philosophy. So this isn't something I'm just doing out of like, let's just, fucking kill this girl because I'm jealous. It's just like, I had to, there had to be a reason. Like, I wasn't just going to go kill somebody and think I was going to just, good things were going to come to me. To see, my birthday is 1796. And if you flip that around, like, the 6 and the 9, the 6 represents us the sun. People color up the sun, it's red, it's representing the color red. The 9, the color blue. You put those together, that's purple. I've been burning purple incense in my house. I'm talking to the devil and hexagrams and pentagrams and all kinds of esoteric symbols. So, burning those purple, when they covered the news that her favorite color was purple, I knew that it was something that was meant to be. Like, it was not something that was my sign out there. When she basically, because I think of myself as the 8, because when I went down to Houston, I was satanic God, they were talking to me like I was the Antichrist, and like I was telepathic. I had all this stuff that like my bloodline just matched in with you guys. That I only looked up Charles Manson and the True Satanist, and I got blown. And I had to go into the woods in Houston for 4 days. There was guys out there changing the worlds. They had trailers in there. I was exposed to some pretty serious shit, man. So that is what, I didn't know anything about it. Then everything got put together about Charles Manson's scapegoat. This blood sacrifice. Right. You know what I mean? Everything got put together, and I said, I know what's up now. So I started researching these old videos, and they were talking about, then all of it was just out of that. And I said, man, I can't do it, man. Like, I can't let just these innocent people, man, just get, even though, I didn't something like that, but in my mind, man, that was a sacrifice. Like, me sacrificing, it sounds twisted. I can say what most people sacrifice the person for their benefit. Like, I was kind of sacrificing myself for her benefit in my mind. Like, there was a band called Bullet for My Valentine. That's what it kind of was about, Yeah, it's like I wish I could have had, like, what her boyfriend had with her. So when her boyfriend, he's just on, he's working there with her because he's the one I wanted to catch the shit into this deal. And I think he did. I saw a picture of him. But I mean, that was the person who had raped me, man. It wasn't Lauren, it was the boyfriend. He had his fucking hair growing. I don't know how it looked like. He had his hair just not giving a shit, and he just looked like some bum off the street. And I said, you know what? Like, I've been lost a good girl to some dumb piece of shit. I'm not gonna do it, man. I pulled out my heart, man. Like, I have a trauma. I have one shit together, man. I've waited long enough, is what I said in my mind. Like, I've been patient. I'm pissed at God. I know how I was. Now, I left church this morning, and the guy said, on Channel 12, he was talking about freedom. He said, God gives us freedom as an opportunity to worship Him. When everybody in people's minds, they believe freedom is being able to have all kinds of abilities and do what you want. So today, it was God that worked for that girl, you know what I mean? Like, I'll tell you that right now, because I thought I was going to get away with it, right? And I mean, this was something I didn't start. That's what I mean, like, it wasn't when I was going to grab her about. This was something I was just planning on putting in my skeleton closet, and people just would know when they were around this kid, right? You know, because it's like, I felt like I needed to prove I was a man. I'll tell you that right now. I didn't know how else to go about it. I thought about it online, I said, I can't do it with my hands, so, you know, I'm glad I went ahead and went about it the way I did, you know.
And where did you said, as soon as you did it, you went to Cassie's?
In Casey's, and got some too.
Yeah, okay.
I was smoking a joint on the way down there. Right after I shot him, I lit up a joint, and I was just smoking down the road, and I thought, ooh, I was going to be cut.
Right.
Man, I was listening to the scanner, I was scanner app, and they said, it was some other time, they said, the sign I was saying, he's telling the people to stop, and I was like, oh shit, like everybody saw me, where I came from, what I did, and now they're just going on my parents. So that's all I thought about this whole time, is like, when I get the opportunity, I said, I'm going to go ahead and own up to it, because I don't want my mom and I don't want to do it. They didn't know people do it to me. Like, I started out, but I was like, you know what, like, I did something bad, man, and it hurt. It hurt my heart afterwards. Like, I thought it was going to be different than it was. Like, I went and explained to her, I said, man,
So you did something crazy about it?
I didn't tell her that I did that. I told her, see, I have a friend that was in our city and all that, and he shot his, one of his, not girlfriend, but they call it, what time to use, but it's a girl that he was taking advantage of using a car to sell drugs. The dad approached him, he was putting gas in that car, John Mitchell. He shot Wesley Burns at the Seymour also 4 times with just a little 25 caliber.
Right.
So like, me and him, that's who I started like getting into the whole drugs and like kind of gang type of atmosphere. And I told her I witnessed a gang initiation where that was how I could, because she asked me, she said, when was this? And I said, this was back when I was in 8th grade, and I was explaining to her the basketball, like, fuck deals and life, and like,
You were, that's kind of what, you were upset about doing this and crying and stuff, but you put it off to that witnessing that other.
oh, I had to. I couldn't say, oh, this just happened, because it was turned on the news and that's what I mean. When I was being detained, people looked like they were showing up to the public hanging. I thought someone was going to bring a rifle and start shooting. You know, but people were saying on comments, they said, well, we're going to try to catch him on our own hands, on our own terms. Well, that's what I mean. They're like, people, they talk a lot. That's just like me. I don't talk. I was someone who wanted to act and not say nothing. I'm not trying to brag. No. There's like a weight off my shoulders. I can finally talk to the right people. Yes, sir. I've been keeping this inside me, and I was like, it's still the thrill of it's done went over. And he's like, I was going to get some pot today, but I've done this on the meeting. Like, I've done that. The way I felt after doing that many areas is nothing. Like, I'm kind of mellowed out now, you know, I can say, like, I guess there was a vent, you know, like I finally been up. I had so much hate built up towards females. I kind of feel like I kind of got one up now. So now I can just kind of, I feel like in my mind, I was going to be honest with you how I feel. My life was already done, man. I mean, I was like, why is my life getting cut short when I was 20 years old, you know? That's kind of what, you know, I just got caught, man, like I've been, Ricky, that guy, you know, there was the Richard Ramirez, Ricky Casso, you know what I'm talking about?
I'm not really familiar with it.
Well, Ricky Casso, they called him the Acid King. And then him and somebody got lured this kid out to the woods and killed him for satanic sacrifice. And then they let all their friends come and like view him. Nobody reported it. Well, he ended up hanging himself. But anyway, they call him the Acid King. Because that night they taken like 10 hits of acid and stuff. And they were talking about seeing lions out in the woods and all kinds of crazy shit. The crazy thing is, when I went to the woods, I wasn't on no drugs. I was on a lot fast.
And speaking of that, on Friday, before you did this to Lauren, had you taken?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I was almost pills and you know, I'd known myself. I was like, this was something I thought about doing. This ain't something that just popped in my head. And I said, you know what? I'm going to go and just fucking do this just to get something off my chest. But I saw her, I drove by in my car like a couple of days before. And I made eye contact with her. Her eyes looked like gems or something to me. Like, I was like, how could someone have such beautiful eyes? And like, I just said what's up to her as I drove by. Like, I just, you know, said what's up. I didn't mess with her. And I just drove by her. I said, dude, I'm not going to let nobody else enjoy that.
So you pretty much knew what were around.
Oh, man, I watched her for about a year, man. For a year, I'd seen her walking with her boyfriend. I had no access to a gun.
And how did you get access to a gun?
Well, because I don't want my stepbrother to get in trouble. He didn't leave the keys to his truck for my stepbrother to get a gun. And my stepbrother didn't show up to get the gun. I mean, my stepbrother does have kind of a little arsenal, but it's legal. I mean, they saw a guy for a gun. He's a Mason, and he's a respected person, and he works at Patterson RV.
Okay.
And like what I used was an AR style 22.
Okay, where is it now?
It's in their house. It's in the gun safe upstairs. But there's other guns there. So like, are other guns going to get taken?
They have it upstairs in their apartment?
Yeah, in the townhouse. Yeah, it's in the gun safe.
How do you get in there?
That's what I mean. It's kind of hard to do because there's a little round key, and you have to turn the key, and you have to have a screwdriver and pop the door out. Which I'm smart enough. I got it just because trust me, I was trying to get that fucking thing out. Couldn't do it.
So it's not a combination you gotta say, it's a key.
Yeah, it's a key, and the keys are on the counter. But it's an AR style 22, because the other 223 AR.
Yeah.
And then I wrote a note and everything. I thought I was going to get caught instantly.
Yeah.
I planned for it. I thought I was planning for me to get caught. I would though. I flushed it. I went back and flushed it. When I started, I was going to get caught.
I thought you got get caught right
I
out.
thought I might get away with murder, man. Something that I never thought in my mind. Like, I was trying to, boom, that was the end when I shot in. I wasn't planning any farther than that, but like, instinct took over. I said, just play it cool, man. I knew rap. I knew it was backwards, like the back of my hands.
Yeah.
I turned on that Lone Star RV range road. And
Did you move up to Southwest Parkway or Southwest
yeah,
Parkway?
turning down the Southwest Parkway. There was as I said, everybody was cool and calm, which I had just seen what happened. And I was like, people, you know, be freaking out, man. But it's like, yeah.
And then from there, you went down and hit some back roads. And,
Yeah, I turned at the Lone Star RV range. You know what I'm talking about? You turn left right there, man, and it's basically a straight shot down to like the McGarville area and stuff like that. I know that like the back of me. I took that about to me instantly when it got me some more pills, and I said, oh my God, like, this can't be happening. Like, I'm getting able to get high and just carry on.
Yeah.
I thought the devil, I said, man, you can't looking out. That was, I said, man.
Well, the next thing you know, you're giving out a different vehicle description. You're like,
You have no idea how happy I am. But what I'm talking about, when they think about the black truck,
Yeah.
I was happy as could be. I said, I hope they go forward Maryland right here. I said, I hope somebody goes down for this that didn't do it. But it's messed up, but it's like, no, when they changed it to the SUV, I knew that I would get pulled over. And I knew people would call because people are so money hungry, greedy. I knew it. I mean, I said, if that girl's life really broke only 8,500, which at the first day, 2,500,
Right.
I wouldn't even have nothing to do with this 85,000 is what it was.
Yeah.
You know, if that girl's life, it wasn't worth no money.
Yeah. So today, when you went to that apartment, did you take that gun in there and put it back up today?
I had thrown that gun out on the Lone Star RV range, and last night I went and got it. It took me so long to find that gun again.
Did you just chuck it out on the way?
I thought, I said, fuck, they were after me. They were looking standing there, so I thought, shit, I thought,
Yeah.
after me. I thought it had already been people doing it. So I was just, you know, I was so fucking prepared to man. I just grabbed the gun and just tossed it straight out. While I was headed down the road, I didn't stop him, I was moving.
Hell yeah.
Now I just kept going, and I said, you know what, a job
How the hell
is
did you ever find it?
oh man, 'cause I'm a determined person. I thought I was gonna get away with it. It's just not like people be trying to hide bodies and chop them up and go dispose of them.
Right.
I mean, I was just trying to get away with
But you
it.
didn't run to see it come up missing?
So I went and got it and put it back. 'Cause I knew if they saw the gun was missing, they would. Oh, they knew that they suspected that it was
Mom
me.
had already asked you about it.
And she was, I got to tell that she was kind of like, okay, well, if you say you're an Omni, but she was like, man, that description is
Right.
Hey, how long, just curious, how long do you think you find it?
the gun. I had to go twice.
And it was fine.
The first time in the morning, I looked through. I didn't look very good. That second time, I started my fucking truck, man, I was pouring sweat, and I was paced back and forth, where I knew I had, and all of a sudden, I told her, I said, Satan, reveal this to me right now. And all of a sudden, I saw it was black in the middle. So I was looking like a brush, because I thought when I found it, it kind of hopped up towards the fence. So that's why I was looking at the fence line. It was right in the day. I'm serious, like someone driver, and that's when I first threw it out. I said, I'm going to have to come get this, because the way I threw it, I knew a driver or someone would come see it. But then I went back out there, because right after I threw it, I packed up myself, like I should have done that. I said, I kind of just glanced, because I was in a hurry, I kind of glanced, and I said, there ain't no pond in it, because they're so tall, brush. But yeah, I had my shorts on, sorry, sir. I had my shorts on, and I didn't put on pants. That's why I forgot about pants, because I had to work in my life. I had to work on my feelings. Like, if I know something has to be done, but it's working, if I don't feel like it, if I'm coming off of drugs, I'll lay there and die. You'd be like, I'm dying. I mean, I'm not worried about shit. It's like, I went and I said, you know what, I'm feeling all right for some reason. Like, I guess it was just so, I was kind of relieved, but like, also I was paranoid, but like, I kind of had a relief. I said, if I put in enough, you know, I can get away with this. So I went up there and I made sure I got recovered that weapon. I said, there ain't no way I'm going to let them see if that gun is missing me.
Exactly.
I said, yeah, I might as well be. I said, there ain't no, so really, like what I did this morning, that's what I mean, like, I mean, if I wouldn't have done anything, if I didn't try to return the gun, I would have been just as damned, because eventually, like, somebody was going to find that. But as I'm the only one who knows that I did that.
So did you go out yesterday, you looked for work first, and then this morning again?
No, it was all the way around there. I think, yeah, I was Friday night after because I didn't find the gun. No, this is what happened. Yesterday morning I went and I did find it, so I went back yesterday evening, close to when it was cooler, 7 o'clock.
Well, yeah.
So on Friday, when you decided to do this, did you had to go get it out of the safe?
And I sat there at the window with it ready in my bag. I had a shirt over it because I knew when people saw me walk down that bag, the blood was going to stick up. So I thought he would say, oh, this is a baseball. You know, I'm throwing a baseball. I had my shirt thrown over the blood of the gun, and I just put it in my passenger floorboard where the blood was sticking hanging on the seat. I had already, I was going to do like an assassination, is what it, you know, what it does. Like, that's what pissed me off when Daryl Franklin got up there and said this senseless act of violence. I said, this was a sophisticated fucking assassination. Yeah. You know, I mean, I was going to give myself, I was like, man, I feel bad about everything, but shit, that's what it was. I mean, it wasn't something I was just, it's an act of violence. I want to cause someone else pain. This was deep, man. This was spiritual. This was, I wanted God to know, hey, man, I've had enough. You fuck me, like, this is not something I was not going to be patient about, I've been patient, you know, you did it with nothing, I stood by myself. See, because this is a really big story, like, when I was a kid, I was only a child, like, my dad and my mom, right, when she had me. But see, the only reason I'm born is because my dad talked to a fortune teller and she told me exactly when to meet my mom. And so like I told people, I wasn't born out of lust, man, I was born out of prophecy. And that's why I think my name, my birthday matches up, 1796, and you flip that around and it equals out 698. You know what I mean? I was like, man, I'm the son of the devil. So like, because my dad, see, that's why he had some kids and stuff that I don't know about. Like, that's why my grandma was telling me and all that stuff. Like, I started tying things in when I went down to Houston. I said, man, my dad has been, because he's old, and he's 70 years old. So he was back in like the intelligence military during the like Vietnam War. He majored in psychology and stuff. So he has a big way of like making you feel like, you know, he twists things. Like, he'll have me thinking that he is like, not like, you know, he wouldn't be involved in anything like that, but really, you know, he has been. And so, but really, back to my story. Okay, so I was the only kid. My dad made my mom get her tubes tied right after, because my dad was very controlling over my mom. So I was the only kid growing up in my house, and I had to witness every day my mom getting beat down. I thought one day, I said, my dad was going to grab a hand or something one day, and I'm going to have to walk in. Like, I've always had images like that. I've always had to, you know, even when I went down to Houston, I wasn't living with my dad. I've always had to have images of my mom getting hurt, and that's the only person that ever showed me any kind of love. Right. So it was like, I had to put up with that shit as a kid. I was alone, and I remember as a kid, I used to just ask God, like, please, like, because my dad wouldn't let the dogs in the house. He only had dogs and kids and stuff. And, like, I always ask God, I said, please, like, I would sit there and put my pillow out there with a dog, and even like, I was enraged with me now, like, I can't own a dog, like, so it's like, I just try to be alone, but not necessarily alone, that's I like being alone, but if it's like a female, I wanted to, like, have a female in my life, or somebody with a little bit of positivity, because all I know is negative and drugs and the devil, and, you know, I wanted someone who would just kind of brighten up my spirits, because it's a lot different seeing a girl just like that ordeal. It was a lot different seeing that girl from afar, and just kind of like that girl wasn't, you know, like, it's hard to explain, that's what I mean. Like, I talk about it like, yeah, I mean, I saw her, but it was kind of like, right before I got right up there with the gun, and I saw her right through, this is how I should put it. I thought she was virgin, and when I started with black girls, I guess just had my mom I said, fuck this bitch. Like, I didn't see no work in her, but when I pulled up on her, like, I was like, I could feel, just like if you're on a date with a girl, you kind of get that butterflies in your stomach and all that. Like, I felt just seeing something so beautiful. You know, like, I was like, you know,
Where from your apartment, where from your mom's apartment can you see her when she walks down the alley? Where? Because they further up the alley? No, I'm not sure. I haven't been in the apartment once every time, so where's
okay. Trinidad right here, right? And the tower is the road that goes to Fountain Gate.
Yes.
There's, on your left, when you first are pulling the Fountain Gate, there's a circle.
Yes.
Pulling. And, sorry, I'm still coming off the opiate side. I was blowing up earlier. I know the guy just smelled water. It's all right. I appreciate it, but there's a circle drive, and there's the townhomes, like right here, 3, I think there's 4. There's 4 townhomes. Yeah. One of theirs is the townhomes, and it has a collar on the windows. So it's just right there on the stairs.
And you can see her coming up the alley from there?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it wasn't that I sat there and watched her from there for so long. I didn't out and out when I seen her before. But just those last couple days, man, I had seen her off that path, and she'd been by herself.
Is that a magazine-fed rifle? You have to put a...
Yeah, it's like a 30-round banana.
Did you...
I unloaded it
You don't know how many times did you fire?
until they quit it.
Until it was out?
Yeah.
And it was fully loaded? Did you load it?
No.
The magazine was already loaded?
You just kept that way in the safe?
Yeah, it wasn't caught though. Like, yeah, like, it wasn't that, yeah, the magazine was being kept in there.
Yeah, sure.
Right. Yes. But all I had to do was, and I did that, but while I was on the stairs. And I had no safety, and all I had to do, like I said, when I pulled the gun up, like those black girls, they looked like we know what's like fuck, but they didn't. That's what I mean. Like they waited till I fired to do things. They stopped in their tracks. Is what I'm trying to say. They stopped in their tracks. And Lauren looked at me like I was joking, or she kind of looked at me like, oh please, you know, she kind of just like turned her head like that, with a kind of smirk on her face. Right. And that's when my eyes changed, and I felt like,
You fired at her first?
yeah, I fired at her, and then her friend was like right beside her, man, and there was 3 girls. There was 2 black girls and Lauren, and one of the black girls immediately started running and screaming, running. And I really, like, I pointed up, and I did aim at Lauren, but not her head. Like, I aimed at her torso, and I initially fired. I don't know how many times I fired, man. It sounded like a fully automatic, how fast. I mean, the way I was doing it, I thought it would jam on me, or, you know, you would think a gun would jam on you, but I was just pulling that trigger as fast as I could, and it sounded like it was, and I shot at Lauren, and I didn't know if I'd hit her. Like, I shot at her, and I looked over, and I saw a friend just standing there looking at me, so I just pointed the gun at her and gave her a couple in the stomach, like, get on with yourself, like, follow what your friend's doing. So I didn't even pay attention, because right like when I said, when I shot her, Lauren was already letting out those screams, and it wasn't like, it wasn't her, like it was a natural thing, a distress, like it was a distress call, is how I felt. She was like trying to warn people. That's what I hate, man, things about it, like, it was pain, man, like, so then you went back to her and then shot her some more. Because like, the way she was experiencing the burning of the bullets. Yeah.
When she was there and you went back to her, or did she fall over?
Yeah, this is what happened, if you don't mind me saying it. She was, they were in the alley and her friends were right here, and this is like, they stopped me, and right when I pulled it out, I just pointed, I laid it on my breast, because it's a serious looking gun. I know she's a 22, but I was like, when I first saw it, it doesn't look like it's 223, this thing looks like a Mac 10 or something. I was like, holy shit, I knew it would intimidate. That's what I wanted, was just an intimidation. I thought she might be cool with me or something. And, like I said, I wanted to prove I was a man, so I laid over on the armrest, and her friends were right here, they stopped, and she looked at me and just kind of went to go on about her business, and like, and she just kind of froze. I shot the other girl. Lauren just fell over, she fell like this. She went, like she wasn't, like she took it like a G. Like, I'll tell you that right now. She took it like a G. She just fell out like this, and she was still conscious, and she didn't look at me. After I shot, she didn't look at me. She looked down like this, and just started letting out those screams, and that's when it hit, like, I had a reaction, like, like I said, I was trying to as fast as I could do to stop, like I said, oh my God, I didn't want her to be hurt like that, like I would feel like pain like that. I just wanted her to be survived everything and her be in heaven. I didn't want her to have to sit there, she was not suffering very long ago. I was like, that's it was about 30 rounds in, but I don't know how many rounds they are coming with, but it's the standard.
Coming up at, one thing holding it, and where was the other side?
She was holding on to it.
Was it her stomach, was it her chest?
She was holding it like under her arm, and I shot her in the chest right off the bat, and she kind of, like, I hate to say it, but like, she kind of tried to like put her arms up or something to defend herself. She kind of put her arm up and I was shooting at her. And the way when I had to do that to hit it, I had to sweep, like I wasn't aiming, like I had to instantly I just swept. I was like, so it went, I went from her feet to her head. And I saw it when it hit her head, and I knew that I killed her. Because she, like I said, the position I just demonstrated to you guys, she was like that screaming, and I just went up and I saw her get hit in the head and her hair moved, and she just instantly died.
Yeah, the first time, you were there, how many times I think you fired first?
I can't tell you anything about that, to be honest with you. Like, I tried to.
And then, you said couple together,
Yeah, like that's what I was trying to, my attention was then on the other girl, and then when Lauren started screaming like that, I had to do something about that, because I thought I'd already killed her. And I sat there, I'm looking at her, like moving like she's not, and I'm like looking around, and I do see blood like coming out of maybe from her head, and like her torso area, and I said, oh shit, like she's hurt. I said, is it fucking 22? That's what I said, I said, fuck, you should grab the 223, but I didn't want her to be mutilated, like I wanted her to be kept as beautiful as she was.
You mentioned some of the incidents regarding pentagrams and stuff like that. Now, you said that's at my house. Is that over on Santa Fe?
Yeah, so you'll find a sheet that I have all kinds of satanic symbols to try and do a ritual whenever you want to call that demon to help you. I have all this esoteric symbols. You'll find the paper where there's a pentagram there's a pyramid pentagram, and then I have all other types of symbols that people would never find that to be like, this motherfucker done some research, because like I have shit like that Hitler was putting up. You know what I mean? Like, some people have no idea what it means, but it's absolutely satanic.
All right, Kody. I can't tell you how much I appreciate you.
I can't come in on that, yeah, if I would have been able to pull the one over you guys' head, I mean, the truth eventually comes out, and like I said, this was God that did this today, and I had to come clean and happy, because this is not, it would happen again, this ain't something that, it would happen again, but it doesn't mean that that's a problem, so I knew, like, I thought about it, and I started talking about, like, my stepbrother, I said, man, they're living their life just fine. They're functioning in life. Like, don't start causing any more problems. I said, you're the one with the problems. You're the one who can't live in this life. You're the one who can't function. I said, you need to just own up to it. So that's what I had to do. And because it's not right. That girl was innocent. I don't know how innocent, but I know that she had a chance to defend herself, and she never did. I never even spoken to her. Yeah. I just thought people put her up, but man, she absolutely matched my description of who I wanted to be for the blood sacrifice.
Yes, sir. We'll get over here, like I said, honestly, I'm sorry we walk out here for some.
Okay, that's all I have. We're going to take care of it, Joe, that's all I have. Okay, because people are pissed off about this, man. That's what I'm saying, the people, it's like, people are enraged, though, they want it.
I'm here as soon as we walk out here, I promise that, first time.
Oh, I appreciate it, sir. Is there anything else we forgot to ask you, or something else you might think is important? No, just like I talked about the color purple, that was just how I knew that it was meant to be. because people ask, like, "Hey, wondering what happened?" They need to just really like read their Bible, you know, and it says the devil was a murderer from the beginning. They need to read their Bibles and understand that that's the way God works. Like, he uses the devil to call his children home, because that's the only way you can go through a righteous death in him, you know. So it's like, you know, she's in a better place, and that's all that matters, you know. Like, she's in a better place, and that's all that matters, because it's nothing but hell here. And I don't care what people say. People say, oh, like she never even got a chance at life, is what I read. Like, trust me, I'm sure she saw that her innocence was going to slowly start being punished. You know how they say no good deed goes unpunished? It's like she would have ended up going to like a party and being raped, or there would have been something a lot worse than what I did would have happened to her. And it would have stuck with I've talked to girls where they don't ever recover from the mental trauma and stuff and what God can do. So I thought I was just going to go ahead and save her from the evil of the world, and, you know, that's the way I went about it, man. You know, like I said, I didn't plan on getting away with it. I planned on getting comes in broad daylight. How can people not identify? How can they get twisted? But that's what I said, man, the devil camouflaged me. I said, this really was real. I said, this was a real satanic sacrifice. I said, man, now my life's going to, that's what, you know, I mean, that's how it had to happen, so I could be, you know, I had to have a little bit of, you know, the camera laying down. It was like, man, I was relieved. I said, man, I'm just going to carry on like I have been. It was like I was in my mind. So I'm going to carry on like I have been. But to be honest, man, it's been getting to me. I was at church this morning. Like, I was crying over that girl. And I was looking up videos like, is heaven real? Or can someone just steal your life? Like, I'm not convinced now that God is real. And it's like, you know, that's the only explanation I have, man, is that that's how it happened. Is, you know, I got to all the best reasons that you know, can think of. Just that's what it was. Okay. I'm just step out here too, man. I appreciate it. No problem. Just, do you need anything else? Like water or anything else? I can just get one water, please. Okay. I'll bring you anything else that I would need in the jail. Oh, definitely. I'll take care of that for you, man. I appreciate it.
Your Honor, at this time, that would conclude the state's publication of the defendant's statement. Although the entire statement is in evidence for the jury to view, the state would acknowledge that the defense is entitled to play the rest of it or publish the rest of it.
The pleasure, Mr. Resnick, we would do that, Your Honor. Let's continue.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate it. Okay, appreciate it. I mean, you're serious. I'm not just joking about like a joke. I got to throw me to the line. No, we're going to get you in solitary, man. I appreciate it. That's all I have. That's no problem. searched. Why are they being hassled over this?
Okay, I understand that, but if you live there, right, you
No, I don't live there.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, and I'm not trying to come this side.
I understand. My name's Charles, okay, and you're Tony Dustin, excuse me, Cody. You're going to those around there, you said? Where do you live?
I live, my address is in Seymour with the 213 Santa Fe Park.
You said Seymour Road or Seymour, Texas?
Oh, well, I have an address on my, Seymour, Texas on my ID, my grandma's, but it's Avenue K, and it's an apartment.
Oh, okay. So like a side apartment, you like,
Yeah, my mom got it for me just to help me, I tried to help me because I can't be on my own. My mom really doesn't, and I don't want her to, like, if I get guns taken from me, they're registered, so is that gonna be an issue?
Well,
I just want to know what's going on, like.
you're not allowed to get the gun you use.
Just the gun that I use, oh, well, of course, but I think that other guns, they're not gonna like take them.
Well, I mean, here's the deal right now, the investigative part, and I'm just talking from prior experience, I don't know if this was going on in this case, but in prior cases, we would take our one and send it to the lab, and of course, the one that came back, we keep that one, and we give the rest back.
Okay, yeah, okay, I just want them to, because they are in tune with, like, they work, they're in the system, they're law-abiding citizens.
Awesome, I'm glad to hear that.
Like, he works at Patterson RV, my mom works at HR Block, like, they're good people, man, so I just mean, like, this had nothing to do with that, and, like, I already told you guys what, you know, it was, like, I told them, like, I feel like now it's just kind of like, oh, we know this, so let's just see if we can fuck his family.
No. We want to be, intrusive.
I want you guys, like, do your jobs, but I know how, like, there's some people, you know, that they take personal matters into their job.
Right. Well, excuse me, guys.
You live in Santa Fe Village? Yes, the Santa Fe Village.
How long you live in Santa Fe Village?
My mom got the apartment for me, like, I don't live there full time, but about 8 months.
8 months, okay. Yeah, I would say, we're trying to be the least intrusive.
I know, I just feel like, I know, like, I was like, oh, my chest, but now I'm just kind of like, I just want everything to be okay. Like, I did this one, like, I confessed to this to relieve my mom, because I have to ask her for money all the time for drugs, and, you know, I have to put it in, there wasn't anything, she's like, so my mom, you know? So I would have not said a word, but I have to think about my mom's, you know, like, she works hard, and I put her in a bind, and, like, I spend so much money on drugs, man, but I don't want to put that on her. So all I want is them to finally be able to move on, save their own money, you know, enjoy their lives. And my mom, like I said, that can go have a good time. You know, like, it doesn't have the fruits around me, but it's the best place in the world. I want to make it bad, you know?
I'm sorry. This is obviously the key to follow that.
No, that's my little Makayla, and this is the one to the 213. No, to the apartment and where it leads to. This is my mom's apartment. This is the extra key to my Vega, or it's like to the part to my Vega, and this is the 213 Central Building.
Okay, 20. You grow up here in South Halls?
All over. I went to elementary in Ringling, Oklahoma, and then I went to Colorado with my mom and my stepdad for a job. And I moved with my grandparents about the age of 13. So I quit school sophomore year.
Where did you go to school at?
Well, the last place, I guess, I went to Seymour, and then I went to with my girlfriend to Rifle, Colorado at that time. So we went a couple of months up there, and then, yeah, you know.
Is it just you right now, do you have a girlfriend or any kids?
Just me, nothing to lose, except my mom is the only person I don't want.
Yeah, one part.
She even love enough, you know. I have to watch it all.
You have to watch it out?
I used to watch my mom get pretty bad, man.
Oh, really?
That's why I have a very strong feeling towards females, you know. But yeah, but my mom puts up with, and she's swimming me, but you know, keep a smile on her face and treat people good. Why can't they? When they haven't even been through
Because your mom's probably a generational thing, giving people like that. Man, these new kids, they're all soft. You know, they don't know anything. You know, I don't know if you've been around older people, like my granddad and great-granddad.
I know what you mean.
I grew up in the 40s, and my God, you guys would survive it today.
Yeah.
Without your dang internet on your phones and
Yeah.
so,
My dad's about 70. He's nearing his mid-70s. So I come from an older. I have an old soul. And, I'm like that too. I don't like the new how things are changing. There's a lot of evil.
a lot of change in the world. We're just talking about that, you know, I've been on the department since 1990.
Really, yeah, so you see,
I've seen it all.
Yeah, there's stuff.
I'll never say I've seen it all. There's something new every day.
Really, I didn't hear about it there with murder, and if it wouldn't have been for my habitual ritual use of drugs to open my mind's eye and be able to think in a way. And I know this was like, I mean, it was a dead-end street, that's what I was telling him. I was expecting to get caught right there, and I didn't. So it was kind of a surprise, kind of, he's like, you're giving me an inch, so take a mile. He's like, I kind of had some slack on the leash, so I went and ran on, tried to take off the run.
I'll give you that, because I was talking to some folks on this yesterday, they're like, this doesn't happen in Wichita Falls.
Right?
My Lord, this is not.
I don't know people who like completely know the devil and like really are into that kind of blood sacrifice and know about that kind of stuff.
Well, and you're right there. I mean, how long you been in Wichita Falls? Off and on.
Just this for about 4 years.
4 years. I remember when I first came to town years ago, they were talking about there's a smack dab in the middle of the Bible Belt. So you're right, we don't know about blood sacrifice right now, you know. So,
Yeah, there's a lot of people who was praying for that girl, and that's what God did this to them. Like, this God worked for her, you know. Even told him that would be God's plan. Like I was telling them.
explain it to me if you don't mind.
Okay, well, like I told him, but they said, like, oh, he's a little off. I don't know what I gotta do. Like,
How often do you get that conversation with somebody?
that's what I mean. I'm gonna go start having.
I'm going to educate me.
I told everybody, that's why I told them, they could have went and saw my friend, I would have brought a coffee, because I sit there and I used to tell people how I said, I haven't seen him in years, I thought they do something just because I was so fed up with females ignoring me. But then I realized it was, I was like, not their fault, man, if I was in my probably wouldn't do me, but God didn't say it's not God's plan, God was one. Okay, well, like I tried to explain to them, but he started to explain, like my birthday, like there's a thing where it's the 6, 9, 8, red, blue, and purple. Yeah, my birthday is 1/7/96, and you flip it around and add it, and the last two, and it comes out to 6, 9, and 8, and that 6 is red, the 9, which represents the moon, is blue, so those together come as the 8, which supposed to be the infinity of the world, which is just impossible, this is everything that's impossible, going into the astral, everything that goes, man, going into the space and all that, leaving your body, doing things that you shouldn't be able to do. Infinity.
Right. Where's that come from?
It's a philosophy, and I don't know if it does work for some people, but for others, that's where it comes into traditional and non-traditional. But like, I'm not here to explain all that or expose. Like, that's why I don't want to expose nothing that I shouldn't. But
I'm just curious about it. I really am.
okay, well, this is why I'm saying when we get to the front of the God's plan is we'll see. Like, I've been burning a lot of purple incense out of that reason. So I had a big connection to 8 and the purple and.
Is that kind of associated with it? No?
Yeah, that's right. The 6 is red, which is the sun, and the moon is blue, which is the 9. So those together create purple when you make the 6, 9, and 8. Because when you draw a 6 and you draw a 9, and you just put them together, that makes a figure 8. Okay. So that's the purple. And when they put on the news and stuff like Lauren's favorite color was purple, that was a sign.
Well,
Yes. It adds up. I mean, is that not weird?
Well, I've never heard this before. It's
Well, but it's like the whole time I was feeling like I was influenced by the devil, the killer, and it's like when that happened, I knew it. Like I knew that it was meant to happen. Like, things like that don't happen for no reason, They just don't. I mean, that's something, I don't know if any people were really surprised. They were really outraged that know that the person was on the loose, or, I was on the loose for so long.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
Well, when I started my life 48 hours, so I was counting down. We haven't reached 48 hours yet, so.
I was talking to the investigator, I said, doesn't know you realize. Because this is not really ever happened in Wichita Falls. Every time we've had a murder in Wichita Falls, it's gang related or it's domestic violence or something.
But this is horrible, man. I mean, this is really a bad deal. I thought about it afterwards. I didn't, like I told them, the idea of how it was going to go was different from how it actually did. Because immediately after, like I told them I wanted to get more pills and honey, and I was just weeping to the lady there. I wasn't supposed to be doing that, but I was just weeping. And I said, please pray with me. I said, I will actually really suffer, because I was like, I told her, when I shot her, I was trying to just take her quick, and she fell to the ground. And when I shot the other girl, she started yelling out like when an animal gets caught in a trap, probably letting out like a natural shit, so it hurt me really, it hurt me that I had to cause some pain like that, but it wasn't.
Fantasy is completely different from reality.
Oh, yeah. And that's the devil's biggest trick, is getting you tricked. That's why I've talked about the satanic web and getting caught, getting tricked and lied to into this ordeal. But it was more than just, don't get me wrong, like when I talk about the devil's, that's what, like how I ended up carrying it through. But that's not what it was based off of. Like, it was based more off of just jealousy.
You're jealous of this girl?
I was jealous of that girl's boyfriend.
Oh,
He was less of a man than I am, and I'm being ignored by every girl telling me that I'm not a man, I need to do something to prove I'm a man. So I thought, you know, if that's one other thing that gets to have a girl like that, then we really are in hell. That's what I said to myself, because I really suffered. Now, I know it sounds ridiculous, but it's like, I didn't really suffer with this whole ordeal about the females and shit. It's absolutely from God doing it. I mean, it's absolutely God, because there's still people who age up by the time they're my age, they know getting something to do with them, you know,
how old?
20 years old.
But you had a girlfriend before, because you went up with her to Colorado.
Yeah, but then she really fucked me over. The whole time she was like dating another dude when I was there. Damn, when she was gangbanged at a party. I mean, she wasn't just, I wanted a girl like this girl I killed. I was worth the shit. That's why I said, God, you sent me all these pieces of shit. Here's what I did to you, you know? Here's how I would have done to you, is what I was trying to tell God. This is what I would have sent you. Look how generous I am, man. I mean, you got to send me all these pieces of shit. Why not give me what I want? That's all I want. I got everything, man. I got a brand new truck. I had every drug you can think of. But like I told them, I'd seen her for,
She was pregnant.
yes. When she was too young, I know, but she was attractive.
Yeah, but we have no temporary now.
No, but I've been to a psych ward for 2 months.
What about that?
Houston.
You've traveled all over the place.
Oh, I know, man.
That's what I say, see this one out in Houston, see there, or?
Well, I didn't work there, yeah. Well, it actually was for treatment, then I left that treatment place and put in the psych ward. It's like, I just had to put it in this about my mom and me just hassling her, and she's working, and I'm spending her money on drugs. Like, I wasn't gonna let that continue, because that was something that I
So you're not working anymore?
no, but the drug I didn't want to drug that whole that's why I don't work. Because I can't, like, I'll sort it out. Like, it's all I'm gonna do, drugs have a whole lot of doubt. I'm saying the only reason why I'm sweating is because I'm coming out of opiates, you know, in the last 24 hours I haven't, you know.
So she was giving you money, you still?
No, she's giving me, but not for drugs. I'm supposed to be to take care of myself, and you see how, you know, I don't be all the eating up and
Yeah, pretty thin.
I eat barely. I mean, look, hey, most of the time I go 2 or 3 days without eating, just trying to get pills and eating, you know. Well, my mind was like, I don't need to buy a little bit of weed, that's not what I'm gonna get hungry.
Pills, what kind of pills?
I could come, I was like, I don't know, all the serious opiates like Oxycontin, Light, and heroin, but
That's serious stuff?
I don't know, I mean, that's what I'm saying, I knew the rest of my life I would never recover, I never really live life like normal people, like my mom would do, like, I don't know how they do it, man, it's fucking hard. I thought about this wasn't something spontaneous, man, like, this was, I had to do something, like I said, like, my mom couldn't just keep on, that was the only way, I've been so just spoiled all my life that even when I want to help you, that I was so just discontent and dissatisfied that I said, because I told my mom, like, I don't like living, like, I blame her, because I'm like, that's the only person I'm going to go to, she's in the birth into this world. So like, I blaming my mom for so long, just for living, and I finally had to do something about it. You know, I tried to keep myself afloat, and nobody knowing, like, but it's like, this ordeal here, I mean, this was just a tragic event, but it's nothing but prophecy of God. So I have a plan for me to spend the rest of my life wherever I'm going to now, so it's all about His plan, trust me. I mean, I wouldn't have confessed if it wasn't. I mean, if I wasn't caught already, I wouldn't have confessed. I was caught already, and you know, where was I looking? Ain't no way, that's what, there ain't any way right would write me my side, right? It's like, I may be a coward because by saying I don't like to fight hands because I know I'm going to do, and I'll get someone can break my neck. It's like, I try to live that just true, just being on the dark side. But it wasn't worth it. Right? Just the other people that are an issue. But like I told them, it doesn't bother me because if I've been by myself, it doesn't bother me to sit by myself. The only thing that's going to bother me is not having freedom to get outside and go down the road as I please, and I'm 20 years old, man. But the prison I was in with drugs was so deep that I couldn't even enjoy those things.
Enjoy what?
Freedom.
Well, so aside from, if you don't mind me asking, you don't have to answer.
Well, I don't want to.
How would you get money if your mom didn't give it to you?
Exactly. It had to come to an end, and it was. So everything had to come to an end. Like, that's what I mean. Like, I wouldn't have unless I may work and work. But I don't have to. I'm spoiled, man. Like I can't work. Like you know, it's just like that's what I mean, man. Like I'm pretty much in the first place. Like I can't work for nothing. I can't. You know, do well out in the right way. Even Jesus, even Jesus probably rejects me. So it's like I had to do something, man. Not the only way that I knew how to do like to make people feel pain that I felt is to do what I did. That was the only way I got there. That was all right. I wanted those people, like, I'm not even saying this in like a mean way, but I just wanted some people to feel a little bit of pain, and it seemed like all these people are just happy-go-lucky, just succeeding in life, and you know what, I had a lot of weights on my shoulders I can't move with it, so it's just like, I reached my end of the road, you know, the end of the silk road, you know, I did was kill him in the river. I think I still do. I'm curious. Yeah, man, because like I said, man, like I got out of psych over, like I was going to do good, like I had chances, What is it? There's a right way to hear that. That's what I'm saying. That was an issue. That's what I'm saying. It was probably an issue with me, God. Like that was something that I told him once I already waiting. Like, I've done my part. I've been there was nothing ever came of it. So I tried to turn to Jesus many times in my life, and nothing ever came out of it. So I was like, finally, I tried to complete. So well, it's not the first time, by the way. I was like, I'm going to go ahead and just ride with the devil. But you know, like, the devil suffered a lot too. That's what people realize is that the devil is just like me. You know, like he's someone who's just been oppressed and finally had enough of it, and he's not forgiven. That's all it comes down to is that people are forgiven all the time for horrible things that shouldn't be allowed, like just like the free sex that's going on, and you know, that's what I told them. I wouldn't try to wish she would have been in a fire and got raped during a couple of years. It probably seems like something, you know, it's happening everywhere, horrible things. Underground that people aren't doing nothing about. That's what I'm saying. Like there's all kinds of abductions and gang rapes and this horrible thing happens. So like, I'm going to go ahead and it was a sacrifice. Like I told them, I wasn't like sacrificing her, like over me, you know, it was a sacrifice of me. I was sacrificing my 3